Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and let's get ready for EJ Boxing Live.
Here comes the revolutionist, executionist, double triple shit, enters for knives, call the crucifix, each man holding, no man forward, coast clear, and premiers in the green tank rolling. Prepare, get on your post and stand clear. They wanted to shut us down, but the whole team's here. What? You act like a tweet or something. This ain't no Captain Storm bullshit war, we on. What's going on, people? EJ Boxing Live, here. And so I watched the Canelo Alvarez. I watched it I watched it in the morning. Watched it on Daily Emotion or the coffee, and I just watched the fight, and I was surprised in the outcome, like a lot of people. But at the same time, Canelo's not. Cause I was surprised how powerful Canelo was at the weight. He's really extremely powerful, extremely explosive, man. He looked like he done pretty well in the weight, He fit well in light heavyweight, and he done all right. That's as far as I knew, and I just left it as that. And then next thing you know, I'm going through my YouTube, like scrolling down my page, and I'm seeing people saying there's a fix. I'm like, yo, what do you mean there's a fix? They're saying Canelo. They're saying Kovalev threw the fight. He didn't throw power shots. He wasn't doing what he normally does, and that's like, what do you mean? You serious? See, actually, yeah, he's picked up a lot of heat, so we won't discuss it. Did he throw the fight? Why did he throw the fight? What was the purpose of throwing the fight? I don't understand the. Why would you do that? Yeah, how you doing, Chris? Chris Tyne, it's good, man. Yeah, good fight. Yeah, but I think the fight at the yard and the high rehydration clause. Yeah, manage the factors in the fight. That's what I was gonna get to. I was gonna get to rehydration clause and the bruising he took from the yard fight, man. That you have to factor that in, yo. Um, but still, I haven't factored on that. And Canelo just walked through Sergey Kovalev. He's basically one of the most feared punchers in the division. He has a serious knockout percentage. Was he sore? Did he not recover from the yard beatdown? You could put that factor in. Or he just threw the fight. Now the scorecards, that's another situation. The scorecards were terrible. They had one of them had them a draw, and the other card, one of them was wide, and one of them had it by 2 points on the scorecard on the stoppage. And I was like, yo, so Kovalev weren't going to win nothing, but one of them had them a draw, so he was going to win on the majority. Majority, looked like, So I was just like, oh, what do you mean it's a fix? It's a fix? Why would he fix? It's his biggest ever payday. I look at it like this, right? I remember Sergio Martinez, right? And he had a fight with Martin Murray, and his next fight was Cotto, and they had rehydration clause. And like he had problem with his knee because of the Martin Murray fight, and he went into that fight and he just collapsed in, just collapsed, man. He wasn't the same guy. Maybe could you say that might be the situation? You know what I mean? Sergio Martinez was getting paid a lot of money to fight Cotto, but they had rehydration clause, and Sergio Martinez, he was the champion. He said, "Yo, it's my biggest ever payday. I'm cool with whatever you're gonna do," and that's what's it. Is this the same thing with Kovalev? Was he drained? If I was him, I said he should have broke the rehydration clause to pay the mill. But I think he was disciplined, and I think he did. And also the instructions from Buddy McGurk said, "Don't throw no power." I've seen him do it before. Just touch him up, and you wear him down. But it didn't like none of the punches. And the funny thing about a lot of people had Kovalev up in the fight. They had him up in the fight, man. What's up, Tommy? No, I didn't sleep, man. I was talking now like hours before, and I just agreed not to put myself through that. Like, I've been busy, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't gonna put myself through it. What's up, Eve? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna put myself through that task of watching that fight. I watched all the undercard. I like the Spider fight. That cut on her head was awful. That was a massive cut on her face, man. That cut on her face was horrible. And the other fight I liked, the Ryan Garcia fight was okay. That was okay, but I expected to do that. Hamid is pestering me, man. What's Hamid? Hamid's come over here to see Hamid saying anything. What's Hamid saying? Okay, where is he? Hamid is somewhere. Yeah, like that was a good fight as well. Where's Hamid? Hamid said somewhere. Where's he at? Maybe message me. He should be somewhere. Okay. Yes, have it. My message is thing. Yeah, so the Ryan Garcia fight was like what I expected. You know, I wasn't oh there you go, there it is. Yeah, I wasn't expecting what I was expecting to see. That's what it was. Um Other than that, the fight fixed, man. I don't know why was someone picked that knockout was vicious though. He crumbled and the referee just jumped on him. You know what I mean? The referee jumped on him quick. Didn't give him a chance to come up, but I don't know if his body language wanted to come up. He looked like how Andre Ward beat him, which is a strange thing because Andre Ward he don't hit as hard. I don't know. It's a weird stuff, man. It's a weird stuff happening in boxing, man. There you are, Hamid. Johnson. Some weird stuff happened in boxing, but I thought like I talking it wasn't the most exciting fight. It wasn't about so Kovalev wasn't trying to go in and put hands on him though. He was touching him up, yeah, I know with the jab stuff like that, but he wasn't going for the knockout. He wasn't going for the knockout. Oh, what's up, Dre? He definitely wasn't going for the knockout. You know what I mean? He wasn't trying to do what Kovalev normally does. The old Kovalev used to go in there to put you out, man. He'd be very explosive, but he ain't the same guy. And I think you could say the Yanni Yard stuff did take stuff out of him. You could say the rehydration clause did take something out of him. And you can also say that time caught up with him. He ain't the same dynamic fighter. You know what I mean? So in that respect, you could say you could add all that stuff, but the rehydration clause that. But Canelo, they tried to say he's a 4-weight champion. So who did he beat at 168? Did he beat what? Rocky Fielding. Was that Rocky Fielding? Was that a legit championship? Was that the 4-weight? 154. Well, he beat Matthew. He beat what? Matthew Hatton. Was that the belt on the line? At 160, he legitly done a job in 160. You can't dispute that. 168. Nope. What Rocky Fielding? Yeah, vacant belt maybe. Whoever won that belt was going to be the champion. Not so much. But Canelo, Kovalev. The Kovalev win is just got people hiding, bro. People shouting fix, shouting this, that, the other. What is he gonna do? Is he gonna challenge the rest of the guys now? Now he's up in the division. He's gonna go back down. What's he gonna do? You know what I mean? There's some fights for him. He's got a big contract with the Zone. I like to see the Callum Smith fight. I'd love to see that fight at 168. I think he beat Callum Smith though. I think he beat Callum Smith, man. I think he beats him. Who else at 168? Benavidez. That would be a good one. When Benavidez or Caden Plant, one of them other guys, give them guys a payday. Caden Plant would give him trouble because he could move, man. And at 175, Burton, that's one people really look at there. He's the cash cow in boxing, so everyone wants to fight him, but he's got this bloody rehydration clause going on in like heavyweight. So if you go fight him, you have to submit to his bullshit. You know what I mean? Because he's the man. But if you ask me, was it fixed? Nah, I don't think it was. But you know what I mean? I'm allowing people to say if they think it is. You know what I mean? Because that is the trending topic. That's the trending topic right now. People think it fixed, man. He was getting a beating, yeah. He'll get a beating by Beat. That guy is an animal, yeah. All right, plan. Benavidez is 2-3. Hello will beat them. Okay, beat them easy. Okay. Chris Hine, I don't know, man. Yeah, but they're big guys, though. You see, the thing is, he's up in that, he's around that stuff now. He's on that bullshit. So if I was saying, why you fight 68? 68 guys would be cool for him. You know what I mean? If you're like heavyweight and he's telling you you can't get up to a certain amount, boy, that shit's messes you all the way up. You can't. You all during the morning. You're sleeping. You can't think about putting on weight, so that messes up the sleep patterns, man. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Jacobs rematch, rehydration clause. You want to see that? I want to see that fight, man. That fight was whack. I want to see some competitive. I want to see someone trying to take him out, bro. See, that's the thing about Kovalev was annoying. Kovalev used to go in there. Look how he did the Gene Pascal every minute of every second in two of them fights to knock him out. What about Bernard Hopkins? Every minute of every second he was trying to knock him out. Now, Andy Yard, he was tapping him up. Ever since he got knocked out by he got knocked out by Andre Ward. No, not by the other guy, the Brazilian guy. He ain't been the same. He fought Buddy McGurkin and Buddy had him boxing. Yeah, and in boxing, and he worked well around the yard. You know what I mean? But he still, he weathered the storm to come back. But I don't know how much he had left. Triple G was an animal too. I don't know if Triple G was an animal, man. Who was his biggest name he beat? Man? You know what I'm saying? People could say he beat Canelo in the first fight, but he just let the guy off, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to commit against Canelo. That's the thing about Triple G, yeah. You know what I mean? If you know you can hit like where you hit, you should have opened up on his bitch ass and take him out of there. Alvarez, yeah. Canelo was a rapper, yeah, man. Little hydration, yeah. Alvarez. Yeah. Listen, all I'm saying is this, yeah. If Triple G knew he could beat on Alvarez, then he should have beat him ass up instead of trying to box him. Why would you go in there and try to box him? Yeah, allow the I laid the Alvarez. That's the one. Yeah, I laid the Alvarez. Ever since they laid the Alvarez first defeat, yeah, shook him up. He's been kind of gun shy since. You know what I mean? And the yard one was good because like yard tested his conditioning and it tested his heart, and he loved it. It was in front of his whole fans, yeah. But he got a payday, man. He got a payday, but I don't know his recovery time from that, man. We have to be honest. Definitely fixed. Oh shit, man, real? You got it definitely fixed? Damn. Explain why, my man. Just bug early. Explain why. Sheesh, man, that's what I'm saying. Man. People, how many where you at, man? How much you said you was coming in? How many of those are bullshit? Bullshit. Go there with how many that's to say. How many Lewis was trying to say? Yeah, there's the link, Hamid, man. So you're welcome to jump in. Alright, so where was we now? It was definitely a fix, man. That's what my man Jasper said. Saying it's definitely a fix, in. You know what I'm saying? I look at Kovalev usually goes to kill, but he ain't. But the thing is, yeah, look, watch this, right? When he was fighting in the yard, yeah, he busted out in the yard, you know. Look what he did to his nose. He busted up his nose. Canelo was different, you know. Canelo was hard to hit because Kovalev was fighting scared against a natural middleweight. Yeah, he didn't once load up. He threw pity patty punches all night. Yeah, he did. Yeah. 1 minute, Tommy, man. 1 minute, Tommy. He told me. Tommy's on it, you know. About I fell asleep, but Tommy was like, "Yo, when we come in?" 1 minute, Tommy. Wait. So that's true, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, Jasper, that's true, but at the same time, he's sore, right? He was sore. You know what I mean? He was he wasn't okay. I believe the fix would have been on the cards. Yeah, I didn't believe that the fix could be a KO. Yeah, okay, all right. That KO was horrible, man. Yo, he turned into a Mexican hero right there with that win. And also happy, the zone were happy with him. Like, because the zone was like, you're fighting bullshit. You need to fight a proper opponent. They gave him, so they can't say nothing. Was he 100%? No. Did they care? No. Did everyone get what they want? Kind of. Was it a fix? I guess a fix was Kovalev. But he was never going to be the same after what he'd been through. You know what I'm saying? But then you can say about Canelo, he had a knee brace. He looked so strong, though. He looked so strong. He was just walking down everything. He's actually hard to hit, man. It's actually hard to hit. I was surprised how quick he closed. I thought his arms are quite short. I was surprised how quick he was able to touch him. I was surprised about that, you know. He had long arms, man. Yeah, there you go. I was surprised, man. I was surprised how long his arms were, man. I was surprised how long Canelo could catch him on the counters. I didn't know the inch. I didn't really check the inches of the arm length, but Canelo was catching him at will with his arm length, man. He really was. He really was. There's the links, guys. He really was, man. The intangible boxer. Yo, what's up, intangible? 5 minutes, EJ. No problem. RKO Calm. What's up, man? Buddy Jack also thinks the fight was fixed. Whoa! This is what I'm saying. It's getting interesting. Intangible, what do you think, bro? You think it was fixed? That's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people because he's like, yo, they know about this dude. He wasn't doing what he normally does. I don't know. He wasn't sore He old now, man. I don't know if he weren't sore. He took the fight. Every yard was a war. In terms of like he got punched around a bit, came back and put it on. It was beautiful, but I don't know how much that took out of him. And you know what I'm saying, was not fixed. Nah, you don't think it was fixed? My man Jasper thinks it was fixed. Like if you read what Jasper's written, like the chat up there, like you can see what Jasper's saying. Okay, fixed. Okay, you know, a new wave fight or fixed. Carry an opponent for a predetermined amount of rounds, then leave yourself open for a big punch. Man, fixed, man. Tell me you made a video about about crowd intangible. Okay. Okay, well, listen, all I'm saying is this, man. Crow, yeah, listen, people going crow. I don't really do the crow thing. I don't really do that. I don't really do that. The clown thing, okay, that clown intangible, that's what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is this, yeah. He's a light heavyweight champion. What you gonna do, right? And he fights every 2 years. He sits there. He just takes things at ease. Golden boy, you know what I mean? They do things at ease. You know what I'm saying? They don't know hurry. They don't know how to do anything. You know, they're just doing their thing. Doing their thing, man. There's some good guys at light heavyweight, bro. That's what I'm saying. There's some really good fighters at light heavyweight. And, you know, if you're a light heavyweight, stop doing that bullshit with this rehydration clause, man. You know what I mean? Why are you doing that? Why do fighters accept it? But when you're getting 12 mil, would you do a rehydration clause? You know what I'm saying? Would you do that? I guess Kovalev was probably going to get beat by some other young, hungry guy. So he thought, oh, shit, I'm also losing this guy and get paid. You know, look after my family, man. Hey, the tax man's going to take quite a bit of his money, but they ain't going to take that much. That's the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? The tax man's going to take some of his money. But at the same time, he's got a family. He's probably going to lose to someone else, and he probably thought, "Why? What's the rubber, bro? I need to translate for you." Why you need to translate for me, man? Okay, I don't translate for me. I don't think I need to translate. Tell me, yes, I did. Okay, he's done the video for you. Oh man. Well, all I know is this year, it's led to debate. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my videos outside. Okay. Yeah, all it says let's do a lot of debate about the fight, man. I've never had Canelo fight had some people actually say it's fixed. So many people say, man, he went the same, man. I've never heard that, bro. That's some new stuff, bro. That's some new stuff. It really is. It really is. Some new stuff right there. Most people, yeah, you know, he's gonna get on the cards, which he was. He was gonna get on the cards. You know what I'm saying? I picked Kovalev on the cards at Jasper. Yeah, the fight was fixed because Kovalev was easy picking. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. He was easy pickings. Kovalev still he was. You know the thing is, yeah, like he killed someone in the ring. You know, actually killed someone. So hard he was packing. He came over England. He beat what's his name? He beat English, the guy from Wales. Nathan Cleverly destroyed him to pick up the WBO belt. And then he just went on a rampage, bro. Just went on a rampage. I think Andre Ward kind of derailed him. But he was on some bullshit. He was also cool. I was glad he got derailed in it. I ain't. As far as the cars maybe. But I thought it was even. But even got either way. Exactly. See? There you go. See? Well, that's how one of the judges had it even. It was that close, but I thought, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. That's exactly how the fight was, man. That's exactly how the fight was. Was it fixed? It's a close one, man. It's a close one. I know on the scorecards. I tell you what, on the scorecards, it was a fix. It was that. But Kovalev weren't doing that, man. It was just, you could see, what are you looking for? You're looking for power guys landing punches, or you're looking for power punches? If you're looking for power punches, then Canelo should be up, and he was up. If you're looking for like punches landed, but they didn't have power, then that was Kovalev, which is strange. Usually packs heat on his punches, but then having saying that, when he fought Andy Yard, did he put that much heat? Was he packing that heat? But see, the thing is, Canelo was moving his head when he was throwing the heat. them jabs. He wasn't letting. If you look at Canelo, he wasn't letting him mark him up, bro. Because that's what Kovalev likes to chip at you. You know what I mean? Like when he goes to the body, Canelo quickly countered him. So he went away from jabbing to the body like he normally does. And Canelo wasn't letting him jab, man. He was parrying a lot. And then just kept walking and pressuring him. And eventually, Kovalev in the fight was holding on. You know what I mean? But I thought it was even. Okay. True, but I had the fight either way. Two, that's cool. It's cool, Drake. But what I'm saying is this: like in the fight, I actually called him holding. He started to gas it in late rounds. It started to take a toll. I saw that a lot. He was jabbing and he just hold it. And then when he hold it, you usually have to walk the fighter back. That's what usually happens when you hold like that. And he was holding. He wasn't tying him up. You usually, you hold and then you try to walk the opponent back. He didn't even try that. He hold it. The referee came and break, and he went back to the jab. Then he hold it again. I was like, he started to get tired. And then Canelo opened up a whoop ass on him, boy. A whoop ass and took him out. That knockout was wicked, bro. Shook look out. The referee deserved to stop the fight. I mean, that's what another thing as well. The cards, everything about it shifty. The cards, the knockout, people are just like, yo, what's this, man? What's going on, bro? Even the referees were stopping the fights early in that thing, man. My cat was trying to get in my house, but I sorted it out. I'm so tired. I fell asleep. This guy, bro. This guy asked me for a link and then just was on some bullshit. Yeah, it was funny. All right, so what I'm saying is this, yeah. In conclusion, yeah, to this epic fight, did it live up to the fight of the year? Was it that great? It's just got more. Could have been epic. It could have been. It wasn't. It wasn't. Just wasn't. What's up, Tommy? How you doing?
What's up, EJ? How you doing, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. What did you think of the fight? Did you think it was fixed? How did you score it? Go ahead.
Well, this is the thing, right? I've had a busy weekend, and truth be told, I'm only actually seen the knockout.
Oh, you haven't seen the fight? The entire fight?
No.
You fell asleep.
But I just
sounds like to me. Sounds like you fell asleep. That sounds like to me.
I actually woke up after the fight, but I
Yeah.
woke up early. Yeah.
Oh, you see? Yeah, because you know what? I'll be honest with you, yeah? I'm busy the whole week, yeah? And to sit up to watch that fight, then undercard wasn't stellar. Man, I said, bomb. I was talking an hour before, and I said, shit, I ain't gonna do this. I don't care. And you know, as well, the zone is chopping channels down. They're chopping channels down on like live streams. I mean, H Money's getting away with it. I don't know why, but he's getting away with it. But other than that, I wasn't even trying to no more. So I just kind of do a post fight. But yeah, go ahead. So you saw the highlights. But so so have you been hearing about it's a fix though, right?
Well, I heard that Kovalev threw a lot of light punches and got gassed out as a result, and I'm thinking, how the fuck does an experienced professional gas out by throwing a lot of light punches?
Oh, when he did that with Yard though, done the same thing, but he was touching Yard. He was missing. Well, if you see the full fight, when he was throwing the straight part, a lot of them was missing. Canelo was parrying. They didn't hit the target a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So because they went in the target, therefore he started to get tired. And Canelo started countering him. That's what happened in the fight.
Did Kovalev ever at any point get on the back foot and let Canelo chase him? You know what I mean?
Nah, he was on the back foot the whole fight, man. Most of the majority. Canelo was walking him down. Yeah, Canelo done him like a McGregor. He walked him down. He walked him down. He was on the back foot. He's on the back. I think what people missing is that his accuracy. You have to really look at it like the detail, like because you haven't seen it. But like he wasn't landing his jabs, man. He wasn't landing it. True, not enough power. Yeah, short either way before the.
But did he not show any lateral movement?
No, he done all that. He was on the back foot. He did. I just feel like his accuracy. I just feel like his accuracy off, and then Canelo was countering him with lightning punches. You know what I mean? He was just he did what Anthony Yard did, yeah, but he just didn't get hit with the jab because Anthony Yard had the shoulder roll and he was getting hit with it. You know what I mean? That's what that his nose was bleeding, and then he couldn't breathe, and Anthony Yard got tired, right? So he was getting caught. Canelo wasn't getting caught. If you look at the fight, you wouldn't think he was in a fight. His face never got marked or anything. So he done a really good job of evading what Kovalev was doing, and that's therein lies made him tired because he was missing, and then he tried to hold You know what I mean? And Kovalev was not really good inside. But then Canelo closed the gap and he hit him with a hook. Then his arms went down and then he hit him with a body shot. Then he hit him to hook the body and a right hand straight. Made his arms down a straight right and just robbed him. The referee jumped and had his knees up in Kovalev's head. If you saw that the referee was just resting his knees down on Kovalev to make sure he didn't get up. But the scorecards, one judge had him two. With his other judge had him by 4 or 5. Then one had him even. So he wasn't going to win on the cards. The knockout was big, but a lot of people said it was a fix. They actually are. They said, "Yeah, man, it's a fix, man." He didn't land the right hand. I was like, "Yeah, well, they didn't let him land the right hand." That's what I'm saying.
Do you think he can hang with the other guys at 175?
That's interesting. That's a very good question. You talk about Bert Beef and them guys there, the Bosch Tick, and talk about Bivol and them guys there. Yeah. I think so. If he does that rehydration clause.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He made that everyone knew he was going to do that clause. That wasn't supposed to come out as well, by the way, because everyone's like, he's doing a rehydration clause. Like, no one knew about it, but as it came out, did the fight. Everyone found out he's doing his bullshit again.
Yeah, true, but apparently Kovalev hasn't weighed more than 184 or 185 for a fight, I think, when he comes into the ring. But I don't know if that's true or not. That could be just bullshit.
Yeah, it could be, but I know there's a rehydration clause. You can't eat nothing and you can't sleep properly because you're worried about. The thing is, it was 12 million. I heard he got guaranteed 12 mil. But he wasn't trying to get out of that pay.
That's probably cash out for you, isn't it?
Pardon?
Yeah, he's probably done now, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe 12
I reckon, now because who's he gonna fight now?
Funny thing, he's got a lot of Russian millionaires. I don't know why he needs that money so badly. He's got a lot of,
how old is he? 37, 34? Did you say?
I don't know how old he is. I'm not too sure. But he's got a lot of Russian billionaires who back him. So I don't know why he was worried about them giving him 12 mil. I guess US dollars compared to Russian money or euro. I don't know if the Russian use euros.
No.
They don't?
They've got their own currency, but I don't know what it's called.
Rupees, isn't it? Isn't it rupees? No, that's Indian.
Rupees? No.
Rupees. Is it rupees? No, maybe that's Indian. But anyway, I'm surprised though. He needed the Let me see how old he is. Canelo's. Let me see. I'll put it up here. Canelo's 29, so he's in his prime. Let's see how old that fight with Canelo was so recent. It was recent, and but Canelo had a fight with Jacobs. So okay, well the yard thing was only like what 3 months ago, man. So 36. Call it 36.
Yeah, what do you think about this theory that secretly Canelo is a 175 pounder, but he just managed to squeeze it down in weight, and he's only just now fighting at his natural weight?
Yeah, that's a good point. But the thing about that is that's the case, yeah. It's a good point, man. It's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point. I think his style of fighting, he's a power puncher. You know what I mean? He turned into a different fighter in that fight. You have to kind of see the fight because usually sometimes he can box. Like with Triple G, he boxes, but when he fought Kovalev, he just had no respect for his power. None, absolutely none. He just went after him, bro. Went after him, give him a whoop ass. It's funny because Alexander Govostick and Kovalev, they're with Eagles Keelers, and both of them have lost recently. Both of them lost their light heavyweight championships. Shit, Eagles Keelers, he lost both his champions just now.
Check out the chat, EJ.
What's up about the chat? What's up the chat, sir?
Can you read it? No?
Yeah, I can see it. It's just popping off. Yeah, I can see it. Always see it. He should have called out.
Phoenix in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Phoenix? What's up? Super middleweight, maybe. He beat at super middleweight. He beat Rocky Fielding, didn't he? Is that how he got this W? Was the WBC belt vacant? Is
No,
that
it
how
was
he
the WBA.
WBA
that
belt was
one.
it vacant? Is that how he became a 4-weight
No,
champion?
because I think it was the super. So I think Rocky Fielding got it. Did he get that off beating George Groves? I think he did. Yeah.
So that belt was Rocky Fielding was a world champion. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how is he? That's horrible.
Because he knocked out George Groves.
Horrible. Rocky Fielding never fought you. It was a vacant belt, wasn't it?
Was it Rocky Fielding? Who knocked out George Groves in his
You're
last
talking
fight?
about Callum Smith, man.
Is it Callum Smith?
Yeah, Callum Smith knocked him out.
Then
Canelo beat Rocky Fielding, and
oh shit!
maybe they elevated that belt to a vacant belt, right? So whoever won was going to be the champion.
All right, we'll
Rocky
just have to
Fielding
check
was
it out
that.
now, innit?
That's some bullshit. So let's say Canelo's reign of champions, right? What's this? At 154, he beat Matthew Hatton. At 160.
No, he beat two people at 154.
Yeah,
He's had two titles.
That was a vacant belt. His first belt was against Matthew Hatton, a vacant, isn't it?
And he also beat what's his name? The guy's got grey hair.
Yeah, I ain't worried about that one. I'm talking about his first belt. So his first belt at 154 was Matthew Hatton. His second belt was against Triple G, right, at middleweight, and at 168, Rocky Fielding. But the color, a bit out of all of them, the color of the Triple G wins are that. When people didn't think he didn't win the Triple G first fight, he definitely won the second match, right? But he's questionable. So he's a 4-weight champion. But
he has a lot of questionable wins actually.
yes. Is he great? How great is he?
Lara.
Yeah, with the Lara one, people thought Lara won that fight. I don't think so. I thought Lara beat. I thought Canelo Cannon beat because I thought Lara just moved too much. I didn't like it too much. That's just me. But a lot of people had Lara winning that fight.
I had Lara winning.
Yeah, who else did he got? The Mayweather gave him a schooling. The funny thing about it, right, boxing, yeah. Oh, Canelo was young. I said, listen, when you're young, that's when you're most dangerous. It's not when you're old. It's when you're young, right? That's when you're most dangerous. Well, he wasn't in his prime. When was his prime? Okay, when is his prime? Well, when he fought Triple G the first time and then people thought that Triple G won him? Was he in his prime then? No, his prime was when he beat Triple G the second time. And when he beat Rocky Fielding. Yeah, that was his prime, right? Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. When did he fight Cotto? They fought in it. He gave Cotto a beating as well.
Say again?
When did Canelo
Cotto
fight?
and who?
Yeah, Cotto and did they fight? They fought.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah, they did fight. Yeah, but he was massive compared to Cotto, like in that fight.
Yeah, because Cotto was on that bullshit. See, before someone he couldn't read brain because Cotto was on that bullshit as well. Embarrassing the way what they've done to the middleweight division. It's embarrassing what Canelo's bringing.
I think it was the WBA regular super middleweight belt. See.
But my man saying, Intangible saying, Canelo should face Callum Smith in the UK. Yeah, I see that one. I think he realized that 154 guy were a bit too quick for him. Well, Matthew Hatton was too quick for him, yeah. That's what he won his first belt off, man. I mean, it's a slight joke, you know, like to us, because it wasn't Ricky Hatton, it's Matthew. Like he got garbage, bro. Matthew was garbage. He ain't do nothing. Doing that big. Canelo and Callum, yeah, it would be a good fight. Yeah, it would. It would. I like that fight. I like that fight. Yo, the Think and Intangible. If you want to jump in, here's the link. And Dre, you want to jump in, man. Chop it up. Let me see. One second. Boy, this is. I can't believe people thought it was a fix. Man. I thought people were going to give the guy credit, but I thought I wake up. I said, "What's the fight?" It wasn't that exciting. I just like. Is that YG? That's what YG said. Me at YG because YG said. There's a link, guys. You press that, you can come in. The fight wasn't that exciting. I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was a. overly like. No. Where's YG at? He always around here somewhere. You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, cool. Make YG real quick. Canelo Call of getting beat is the way he went out. It's funny in boxing, yeah. You start your career, Call of blasted Nathan out, man. I like Nathan Cleverly as well. He blasted him out, and then he went on a thing that Donna Stevenson fight never happened. That's the fight we wanted to see, But Call of holded the belt pretty highly. He done pretty well. He was a good light heavyweight champion. Credible, very credible. But his reign's over. What's Canelo gonna do with the reign? What's he gonna do? Oh, there we go. Intangible YG. There you go. What's up, guys? Intangible. What's up, YG?
What's up?
What's up? It's good, man. It's good.
What's up, man?
Give us your take, man.
Canelo Kovalev?
Yeah.
Pretty. Even though it's a very competitive fight, didn't seem quite. It didn't seem very exciting. But I mean, it was a solid fight overall. As far as just it was kind of back and forth. There was momentum changes throughout the fight. Canelo had his spots. Kovalev had his spots. It was tough to score. Many of the rounds I think could have gone either way. That's why I said in the chat, I had it, kind of even through 10 rounds. You could have had it either way because there are just many rounds that were tough to score, and whoever style you prefer, that could have been your guy. You would have had a head if you prefer clean punching and a guy coming forward. You would have Canelo. If you like Kovalev's activity and his jab, you would prefer him. But Canelo came through in the end and knocked Kovalev out, and I thought it was legit.
Oh, you ain't got no fix, no?
No, it wasn't fixed.
My man. YG. I guess he ain't there. Yeah, because I watched the fight and I said, yo, he beat the guy. I thought, Anthony Yard might have took his toll. What's up, Fox? What's up, Aztec? Aztec fixed. Aztec's like laughing. Aztec, the links in the chat. You want to jump in? Can represent, man. And I was like, yo, man, we can't give the guy his credit. Like, I just, I don't know why he would just all of a sudden just give in. I just feel like he's accurate. He weren't landing the shots that most people landing. Like, Canelo, he's good. His defense is one of the best defenses in boxing. You don't really land that many shots.
Yeah, Kovalev didn't land clean. It was mostly on the gloves, and Canelo would slip a bunch of them. But he mostly landed on the gloves. Canelo kept a tight guard, but what was costing him the early rounds is his inactivity. He was just kind of dipping in and out. Just sitting there in the pocket. He wasn't really throwing much. He was just waiting for a perfect counter, and in the end, it worked. But it could have cost him the fight had it gone the distance.
Why? So because most people were giving it to Kovalev, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were giving Kovalev the fight on the cards, right? They were saying like he was winning because he was more active than Canelo.
Yeah, and I mean I can understand. It's a very close fight.
Mm-hmm.
But that was probably the best knockout of Canelo's career, better than Khan and Kirkland, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, just because of circumstance, like this is Canelo moving up 2 weight classes and challenging Kovalev for a title for his 4th championship.
Yeah, EJ, you can hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let my man, let Intangible finish though. Go ahead, Intangible.
I mean, of course, he moved up 2 weight classes for his 4th divisional championship. He's in a tough fight, which could go either way, and many people are wondering, where's the fight going to go from there? And all of a sudden, Canelo just explodes in left hook, left hook, right hand. He goes to sleep, and he had Kovalev looking like was it Jersey Joe Walcott after he got knocked out by Marciano?
Yeah, crumble. But that referee was at his knees on Canelo's bloody shoulder, so he definitely couldn't get up.
Yeah.
That referee got a wrestling move, man. That was he he squashed him, man. He squashed Canelo from getting up, man. Had Canelo's neck out on the rope. Referee was they were overbearing. What's up, YG?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Everything's
Obviously, I know if y'all, for those who listen to the show, y'all know that I picked Canelo, and some people promoted this as he moved up 2 weight classes, but in all actuality, he just moved up 1 because his last fight was at 168, and now that his plan has came together and he's moved up to 2 weight classes and captured the other 2 titles, it looked like his game plan was good. That's why him and De La Hoya is having those disagreements, because when you have a game plan for yourself and your promoter wants to go another way, things could get a little mixy. But like his game plan worked out because he moved up and he fought the fighters that he felt he could beat. And now looking at that fight, I like his chances versus Bivol and them, because what he showed last night is he could take away your jab. Even though Kovalev was still throwing his jab, he wasn't throwing it with conviction because he was worried about the counterpunching. And versus the other, even if he goes back down to 168 and fight a Keem Smith, or if he stayed there and fight Bivol at 175, I like Canelo's chances in those fights, because even with these next few champions coming up, they all depend on their jab, and he shows that he can take that away. So I'm interested to see what's going to be his next chess move.
Okay. Also, Aztec, you could jump in. The link's in the chat if you scroll up. Yo, let me ask this question, YG. Who did Canelo beat at 168 to make him a 168 champion? Go ahead.
Rocky.
He beat Rocky. He beat the what you call it?
Who did Rocky beat the belt? Who did Rocky beat to get the belt?
He didn't need the belt was given up, and he won it in that
That's some bullshit. Ain't that some bullshit right there? Hey, Rocky Fielding was garbage, bro. Like that was.
I mean, so you want to take away from Rocky?
No, I'm just saying, like,
that's what I'm trying to say. It's like this is what we do this sometimes, though. You got to watch that. We taking away from somebody else's accomplishment just to take away from Canelo's accomplishment.
No, I'm not.
So now we're gonna knock what you call it for winning the title, and then Canelo winning it. Like, come on.
No,
like,
what I'm saying is that, like, listen to this, right? Rocky got the belt, right? I remember when he got the belt. It was like a diamond belt, and then they upgraded it to the vacant belt because Canelo challenged Rocky because they gave Rocky a payday and they made it thing. And then this fight, it was a rehydration clause. Like with Canelo, was always something. Now, I listen. I ain't complain. I'm not complaining, but let's be real. I just went it right out. Now this is these championship fights, right? Matthew Hatton won a belt at 154. Triple G, right, at was it Cotto Triple G? One of them two at 160. At 168. Rocky Fielding, and at 175, Kovalev is the biggest win, but on the way he won, it was satisfied. It was satisfactory. So I was cool. I'm just like, I see all the critics the next day saying, "Nah, man, the fight was a fix, man," and the other and the third. Like all I'm saying is asking the critics. It wasn't a fix, and does Canelo deserve to be one of the best in boxing
right now?
Yeah, like they got him. Like, is he a Hall of Famer right now with the wins he got? Like he fought all the best, but there's some of them is questionable, right?
I mean, he still has a ways to go, but he's put together a Hall of Fame resume.
Go ahead, tell me about the Hall of Fame resume. Let's go in that. Let's talk about that.
Go into that because his 4th division, what you call it, he moved up from 154 to light heavyweight. So you have to respect that. Now he's the main, like he's the star attraction right now.
Yeah.
Before we would have said it was Joshua, but he gave up the throne with that loss.
Yeah,
there's a couple of other people that's must see. Like, Pacquiao's still lingering around, so he's still that guy when it comes to must see. But it's like.
Right.
Moving forward, it's gonna be Canelo. Most of the people, basically, you know how it is. When you the guy, everybody calling you out because you the guy. You're like, you must see TV. That's why, in a way, Errol Spence was becoming going up in the top 5 because everybody wants to fight him to be on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So you're becoming the big draw. Everybody wants you. Is the same is the same thing with Joshua had that for a second. Now I mean people want Wilder now. It's the same like it happens that way. That's how you become that guy. De La Hoya had it, then Mayweather had it, everybody from different weight classes calling you out because you that guy.
Yeah, I Gilbert Ramirez. You know what I mean?
If you if, if, you- if you not if you're not that guy, people not gonna think about fighting you.
No, I agree with you. No, look, you say Hall of Fame resume. I say he fought everyone, and there is some questionable. But the thing is, he's still doing his thing, so his career is still popping. But my whole
Yeah,
thing is, there's some fights I'd like to see, and my man put it out in there. Ramirez, Gilbert Ramirez at 168, like Better Beef at 175. You know what I'm saying? And like, maybe I don't know. I don't think he make middleweight no more, but like at them weights between 168, 165. Fight the guys at his weight. Don't put no rehydration clause and get all your credit. Like he deserves all the credit he done. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. He should get all the credit. But man, this is supposed to be a celebration. But all I'm hearing next day is like, yo, it's a fix, man. This, that, the other. The next day is like, it's not satisfying.
I mean, because it's always something to knock somebody. Like those people that's want to say is a fix is always in it to knock them. Like they probably would have been saying the same thing if what you call it would have knocked him out in Russia. If Yardi would have knocked him out in Russia, they would have said the same thing. He's washed up. That like it's over. They would have like it's always people they're always gonna hate. They're always gonna have something to like. There's gonna always be a side that's celebrating, and then there's gonna be a side that's hating. It's always gonna be like that. Like,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
so.
go ahead. You're right. Exactly. Jump on it, man. Go ahead. Cool.
I just took. I had to leave for a second. What's this about?
No, we were talking about the credit. Like people ain't giving Canelo his credit. He's just the credit because of certain.
Yeah, people aren't giving Canelo his credit because that's the nature of being one of the top guys in boxing. When you're one of the top guys in boxing, you're open to more scrutiny. And Canelo, his fans are just gonna have to live with the fact that, some people have very high expectations for him, unreal expectations for him because they're rooting against him. And, he's gonna be more heavily scrutinized, whether fairly or unfairly, and that's just how it's gonna be. And
Go ahead. Now, I'm just saying, how great is Mayweather now? Because people say Mayweather can't do, he's brittle, he's feeble. But Mayweather could have done the job on Canelo like no one else, bro. He done an actual clinic on Canelo.
That's one thing that I see in Canelo's what you call it too. He took a little bit of that little bit of that loss that he got from Mayweather. He uses that little bit that like you see how with you see how with when Mayweather was backing him up and then he when he tried to back Mayweather up and then Mayweather did that move to him against the ropes. He be using that now. Now, like when people try to he let people back him up, he actually uses he learned from that loss. Like I really appreciate his game plan out there what he did yesterday.
oh, if you can't beat him, beat him.
Yeah.
I really appreciated what he did out there. Like
What's Kovalev 100%? Did the Anthony Yard fight have an effect?
Did the Anthony Yard fight have an effect?
Have an effect on Kovalev because Kovalev people are upset that Kovalev was throwing his right hand. I would say that he was missing his jab, so therefore he couldn't throw his right hand. But that's what people are saying. So I'm up to you. Was Kovalev 100% going into the fight? Did the rehydration clause affect you?
I do think go ahead.
The rehydration clause shouldn't be a big deal because when you're the champion, you got to come in at win at 170. You should be in prime shape anyway. You shouldn't worry about you rehydrating to like that don't make any sense. Like bringing up the rehydration clause, that makes no sense. Like when he didn't even make weight for 175, that already showed you something right there. Like that's exactly why they picked it because look, he wasn't even gonna come like basically if that wasn't on the table, he probably would have gave the title up on the scales.
Oh, he didn't make the weight?
No, he didn't make the weight. He had an hour to make weight.
Yeah, you see, this is what I'm saying, man.
That's what that's another thing about boxing. Like,
That shit crazy, bro.
and think about it. Like, come on, there's a lot. Even though Danny Jacobson, my guy, but his last few fights he came in overweight. Like he fought Golovkin, he was overweight. Like guys, like it's after a while, you gotta put a stop to that. You can't be like, you can't just be like, yo, why you paying weight classes? Because these guys is not following the rules. Like if there's a title fight and it's 175, you shouldn't worry about a rehydration clause because basically that means you trying to rehydrate to something that you trying to rehydrate over the what you call it like that right there is like, come on, like that shouldn't even be people that's bringing that up. Like that's just another excuse.
Although,
And definitely for the champion should definitely not be doing that. Like that should be something that the champion should be ruling against the challenger. Like, yo, you can't rehydrate more than this right here.
so from what I saw in the fight, I don't know if the rehydration clause had an effect on him because Kovalev, it didn't quite look like that. But the yard fight, the wear and tear on the body, I think it might have, and maybe the rehydration clause had a little bit of effect in it too because you know how Kovalev, he didn't exert himself as much later on in the fight. It seemed like he was a little more, seemed like he got a little more gun shy, a little tired after, like he stated that he was tired after the 6th round. So it's possible that the wear and tear, the maybe the excessive training and things like that might have pushed him back a little bit. But I mean, that doesn't really take credit away from Canelo. Canelo, you know, he's a guy who trains basically every single day. You know, there's no in between fights. There is no training camp for him. You know, it's a routine basically. So,
I mean, basically the reason why I picked Canelo because Kovalev is just basically a 1-2 fighter or a 2-1 fighter.
Mhm.
Like he basically just throws all his punches right up the middle. Now that comes in handy, but at the same time, if you just fight like that, when somebody starts hooking on you, then you're gonna be timid. Like this is why I knew that he was gonna lose that fight because he's just a 1-2 fighter. So like that only really works when he was able to fight people that don't got no movement or like it's not strong enough to stand in there and counter punch, like punch when he punched. So on that note, I knew he lost this fight because like he's just a 1-2 fighter. He's nothing. It's basically nothing special about him.
but I mean, he could find success though because Canelo, it's not easy for him, especially moving up, getting all that weight. It's
I mean, you saying all the way, but he really only gained 7 pounds.
no. But I mean that's still.
And basically because from what you call it, that's really his walking around weight. So he didn't have to go through draining himself this camp. He just stayed natural and worked out.
But I'm saying that Kovalev found his success because Canelo is not a fast fighter. He's very flat-footed. He's very slow on his feet. He can't really approach Kovalev at angles like that unless he's on the inside. But that was his goal to get to the inside. So that's why Kovalev's able to make it.
I think on your comment, I think that's just how he chose to fight. What you call it? If he have to move around, he can. Like I don't know why you think you did. Like, he showed in the first Triple G fight that he could move around, and people saying that he was moving around too much and backing up. So if you like, you can't really say he's a flat-footed fighter because he can move around. He chose to stand in there and punch with him. Like,
yeah,
that was instead of giving. That's why when he's just a 1-2 fighter. So if you don't give no ground, like you negate that, and then that's why most of the time Kovalev started using his shoulder because he was trying to create space for himself.
Yeah.
All I say is Kovalev is not used to fighting on the back foot. He's a front foot fighter, and that's how he's effective. In that fight, he was on the back foot. He didn't like it much. That's one thing Canelo did to. He made him fight on the back foot the whole entire fight. There was no one time that Kovalev was on the front foot. And a front foot, he's a front foot fighter. But that's what he's been effective. And I think that tied him out as well.
Yeah, I feel you, but watching that fight, I'm like, if he decides to stay intact at 175, I like his chances versus Bivol or any of those guys. Yeah, those guys are predicated off their jab too, and his left hook would be the best left hook in the division. Who
Rehydration.
who
Yeah.
who at 175 got a better left hook than
He
Canelo?
got the rehydration clause on them. That's the way he's beating them, man. But if they come in their normal weight, bro, they gonna beat his ass, bro.
All
Bivol.
right, but this is the point with that though. Like you like if you put a region if you put that clause on the what you call it, y'all still it's gonna be still a title versus title. So they still gotta make weight at 175. So for them trying to gain a whole bunch of weight in between the what you call it, like that's not a you when you throwing that out there, that's fair. If you throw if you throw it out there like yo after the what you call it you can't balloon up to a cruiserweight. No, like how is that fair that a light heavyweight champion could balloon up to 200 pounds?
YG, that's what people be doing. Canelo does it like that's what they always do, YG. That's what they be doing.
But if Canelo's putting that clause on, he can't. It's not like he's putting the clause on. You can't go 7 pounds over, but I can. Is neither one of us could do it, so it's even Steven.
That's exactly what Canelo does. Canelo says you can't, but he can.
Nah, that ain't that. Nobody ain't signing that contract.
No, I'm telling you that. Yes.
Knock it off, man.
Yeah.
I need that before you make that assumption. You gotta have proof to what you call it. You can't throw that.
He's the A side. He's the sides YG. That's
Nah, it's for both fighters. Ain't no. That's like saying he put.
Nah.
I'm gonna put on 8-ounce gloves, but you gotta put on 12.
That's what they talk about Canelo weight, YG. That's the whole point. That was the whole premise.
Nah, that's just people that don't know the what you call it. Ain't nobody
Why you know
what you call it. And he didn't do that last night anyway. He didn't rehydrate over up to some big weight.
What was his last fight? Who was his last fight? Jacob, right?
At 168.
At 160. That fight was at 160. It was for the IBF 160 title.
Yeah, it's 160, bro. That's why it's 2 weeks, YG. Jacob was at 60, bro. Was defending his middleweight title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, but Jacobs didn't come in at what you call it. That's why I keep thinking that the fight was at 168 because Jacobs was overweight.
I don't know. I can't remember. They go back. All I know is this.
Yes, he was.
I'm not going to dispute that. All I'm saying, Canelo be getting away with some shit. Now, this is the thing, right? Now, he got that like brutal, that drug shit, and the judges' scorecard now. A lot of people are watching. They said the fights were close. They even had Sergey Kovalev up. The judges were putting. The judges had the fix ready to go, bro. So even if Kovalev got to the card, he would have got bastard on the card, man. I mean, Kovalev would have won that fight on the card. He had to knock him out. Why did Kathy do the sacrifice her number one guy? I think she knew he was in the last leg. She got rid of him. She get his ass beat, and that's it. She out. I think she's interested in Evander Holyfield's younger son. I think she's gonna put her energy to that now.
Damn, Anthony McKenna in the chat is going in on Canelo.
What'd he say?
He's saying Canelo walks around at 190. Canelo has slow feet. The fight was a fix. The fix was in before the fight started. All Kovalev had to do was show up and pretend to get knocked out. And then he said he can't beat anyone at 175 outside of a money-desperate Kovalev. Better Biev would wipe the floor with Canelo. Bivol would punch him up. Ramirez is too big and gangly for him. I also think Anthony Yard brushes up Canelo at 175. Well, bro, Canelo just beat Kovalev, who beat Yard. And I understand the triangle theory, but Kovalev knocked Yard out. And Yard is a guy who, I mean, he just got exposed. Okay, his style has already it's been proven how to beat him.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Yeah.
Y'all, I don't think y'all hit that hard though, as Canelo. But he walks around 190. Shit. Oh, he just locked up. Okay.
I think Canelo probably walks around about 185.
Yeah,
maybe close to 190.
Ben Umar, Hamid, what's going on, people?
All right, what's
Hamid.
up?
What's going on? You know what we're talking about? We're talking about
Who's
the fix, my
talking?
man. And it's Intangible Boxing, man. He's a new up and coming channel. He put it around for a bit. How long you been around, Intangible? Intangible, how long you been around? Intangible.
Huh?
Disappeared.
How long you been
Yo,
around?
let EJ, let Hamed go first. I'll come in after.
Okay, I was just talking to Intangible. I was asking my question, but okay, go ahead, Hamid. Don't worry about it. Hamid, was this fixed, bro?
It was fixed. I had Kovalev 10-0 up, and he dived like Khan dived, and Kirkland dived. They all dived.
Hold
They
on.
all
Go back.
dived.
Let's go back to the scorecard. How you score it? How you like it? Hold him up? Real?
I had 10-0 Kovalev.
Yo, Sunday, Khan took a dive versus Canelo. What?
Khan dived. Khan dived, man. That was a dive.
Yeah, he
Khan
dived into that
didn't do
left
that
hook
for-
with sweep.
I think that
I'm
was a right
trolling.
hand, actually.
I'm trolling, man. I'm trolling. Now, I had the.
Be serious, Hamid.
Now, I had the.
How you
I had
score
the
it?
5-5. I had the 5-5, but I think Kovalev was the one. If I had anyone leading, I think Kovalev was winning. But I think that knockout came out of nowhere, similar to the one with Khan. Although Khan was a ex lightweight, so
Yeah, it was very
but I
similar
thought
to the
it
Ramirez
came out of
Hooker
nowhere.
knockout.
What Ramirez and who? Was it Hooker?
Yeah, very similar to the Ramirez Hooker knockout.
Oh yeah.
Just how it
But
came out of nowhere.
I thought this similar. It reminded me of the David Price and Povetkin knockout in terms of like after the first shot, he was what's the word? He was like he was lost. He didn't know where he was. And then Canelo had a free shot.
Yeah.
I thought Canelo was the puncher in there. Although I don't think Canelo was impressive, but I said it on Twitter. I said it a couple of times. People kept saying he doesn't stop people in their big fights, but he stopped Kovalev, and Kovalev has been stopped recently. He almost got knocked out by Yard. He also stopped. He stopped guys that he's meant to stop, and he does that. Like I think he deserves credit. Like no one stopped Golovkin, so I don't know why people hold that against him. No one stopped Floyd or Lara still. Trout, I think, only got stopped once by Hurd, and Hurd is a monster at that weight. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of people discrediting him, saying he's fixed. It's possible it could have been. I just think Kovalev, he's not what he was, and fighting in August and almost getting knocked out. I think Kovalev was kind of drunk. He might have been drunk in that fight as well. Like at times, it looked like he was drunk in the build up to the fight. I think he's been drinking too much.
What? You see that? How do you know that? You talking about, right?
Not physically drunk in the ring, but in the build up, I've heard he was drinking in what was it? In his training, leading up to the fight. So if that's true, then it takes a toll. But like I'm just saying, the way his body language was, he looked punch drunk at times.
That's some shit. Umar. Greg. Ben Umar. I guess he know what to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
he's muted. Let's see.
Yeah, read the chat.
Soldier Viejo says Kovalev was throwing pity pat punches. Well, that was people like to say that he was throwing, soft punches. He wasn't putting enough power behind his jab, and that's why it was a fix. But that was to keep range, because if he lets Canelo get on the inside, he is fucked. Okay, because he's just gonna get hit to the body. And I thought Kovalev looked a little bit drained. He looked a little bit skinnier in the ring than he usually does, and I think
What about this though? What do you guys think about him not sitting on his punches? That's one thing I thought that was a bit weird. Although he's not really known to be sitting on his jab, he's not gonna throw as many right hands because he was obviously vulnerable, and even though Canelo was short, I thought Canelo on the night was the stronger man. Like Kovalev might be more heavy-handed. But Canelo looked like the stronger. Like there's a difference between being stronger and being heavy-handed. Like Canelo was pushing him around. He looked like the more naturally stronger on the night. I just don't think that's the same guy that was fighting Hopkins. The guy that knocked out Hopkins, beat up Hopkins, and knocked out Pascal. I just think he's just once he was like beaten up and the blueprint was laid, he's just not the same guy. Although I don't think Canelo was the same guy at that time. Canelo was barely a middleweight. Like I think he was still a junior middleweight. Right now, I think he's a natural middleweight who's probably could even fight as super middleweight. But I don't think he's a light heavyweight. Like I wasn't. If he's gonna stay at that weight class, I wasn't impressed. Like I think a lot of the light heavyweight will beat him, but then again, he is really a middleweight, really at best at the moment. It just shows how good he is. Like if you're rating pound for pound wise, that's why I probably got him number one now.
Yeah, I do too. And I think Ring Magazine will require Canelo to become the undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world for them to consider him number one pound for pound.
Yeah, that's pathetic, man. He should be at least number two. I don't know how Lomachenko is ahead of him. I think you can make an argument for Crawford. I just personally think. He's just beaten too many names, and even Crawford. Like I'm a Crawford fan, but same as Lomachenko, Crawford needs a name like Spence on it or someone like that, or a Porter, or Pacquiao, and he hasn't got that at the moment. I'd probably put Canelo there, but I just can't see how you could put both Lomachenko and Crawford ahead of him at the moment.
Mm-hmm. The thing with Crawford is I could kind of see how you'd put Crawford above him if you favor Crawford's skills and the way he's able to just dominate all of his opponents, because he has, except for Gamboa and spots, he has dominated all of his opponents. And I mean, he deserves to be top two in my opinion. I think he's right there behind Canelo with Lomachenko and Inoue fighting for number three, because just how I kind of mentioned the dominance thing, I think Inoue's been more dominant over his opponents as of late over Lomachenko. He's been more dominant over his opponents than Lomachenko has as of late. So I think that you can make an argument for him over Loma, but if you favor Loma's resume and his accomplishments through his fights, you could put Loma in there. But I mean, I think Inoue's done what he's been able to do in less fights without the amateur career.
Yeah, it's objective. I don't really care about pound for pound ratings too much, but I don't know. Like, I just find it hard how you can't put Canelo as a top two at the moment. Like, it depends what if you're basing a resume, then he has to be at least top two in my opinion. If you're going off skill,
if you ban people who tested positive, maybe you ban Canelo.
Yeah, but you could say that about a lot of guys in the past who have tested positive and whatever. Like, I think it's a question mark over everyone. But if we're just going to go by who's tested positive, then yeah, I get that what you're saying. But he also did come back and he done year-round testing.
Canelo's on that computer, man. He's a fucking cheat. Yeah.
All right, go.
Nah, man, I'm tired of this love fest for this dude, man. First of all, I don't know how you guys scored it, but I only gave Canelo 3 rounds before he knocked Kovalev out.
Nah, that's possible. I've seen a lot of people had it. I gave him 5, but I think he really won about 4, really. I think maybe at best 4. But I've seen a lot of people give him 2 or 3 rounds. He wasn't throwing. He was very adaptive.
He was barely throwing, and when he was throwing, the only punches he really was landing was body shots. And half of the time he was swinging wildly, and missing wildly. But I could see that Kovalev didn't want to get hit no more to the body. I could tell the way he's backing up constantly. I'm not used to seeing Kovalev back up like that a whole fucking fight. That threw me off a bit. That like watching that, I knew something wasn't right. I'm like, why is this dude backing up? Kovalev don't do that. Yeah. But that punch at the end, man, that shit. I don't think he threw the fight. Don't get me wrong. But the shit just came out of nowhere to the point where I had to look and see if it was staged. I was like, yeah, this is staged. But I tell you one thing, that referee
I know Kovalev probably wouldn't have got back up, but that referee jumped like he jumped off a fucking pogo stick to stop that fight.
That's what I said.
Immediately.
I was saying, why didn't he count?
Yeah,
That's what I thought. But after watching it,
yeah, he had his knees up on man's neck. He couldn't go the gap. He couldn't get up. The referee was holding up on him.
he was
Now
sleeping on the
imagine
ropes.
how, especially Hamed, right? Hamed of all people. Imagine how Hamed would have felt if that ref would have ref the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight.
Nah, you're right.
I was just thinking the same thing. If that was the referee, because the referee would have waved it off, man.
But you know what? I thought the Wilder Fury fight, he could have waved it off. I wouldn't have argued. The way Fury collapsed, you could see Fury was flat on his back. With Kovalev, I couldn't tell. That's what I'm saying. The people that were closer to Kovalev, like the commentators and the referee, they were saying that was like a instant stoppage. Like, I thought Kovalev was taking a knee on the ropes. After seeing it from a different angle, he was sleeping on the ropes. He was punch drunk, innit?
I don't think he would have got up. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't like when refs don't even give a count. Give a couple seconds on it, because like if they would have done that with the Fury fight, we would have got robbed of a great moment in boxing.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get that's a fair point. I was gonna say, I've seen a lot of people saying Kovalev was hitting gloves, but I'm sure a lot of those punches were getting through. With Canelo was not doing anything for 2 minutes, and don't get me wrong, he did win about 3.
They wasn't getting through. Enough things was Evander Holyfield's son. He was in a fight.
No, some of them were getting through. But who do you give the round to? A guy who's not.
Yo, your boy
just
Evander Holyfield has excellent genes. He got one son in the NFL and one son in professional boxing. He did all right with himself.
Yeah, bro. Evander Holyfield's son, yeah. When he done his knockout, the referee did the same thing. I don't know if that was the same referee. He stopped that fight immediately, bro. Like, I was like, yo, what you mean? Like, why you really continue? So I don't know if that was the same referee, because he did it earlier in the night. So I need to find out if that was the same referee, because I'm not gonna lie, when he jumped all over Kovalev, I was like, yo, bro, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? You good, like, Kovalev is dead. He was all up, you know what I'm saying? So, I ain't trying to take away, like this comes down to people saying he was fixed. And is he gonna get his credit that he deserves? I'm saying, like, are we giving his credit? We gonna give his credit or what? Canelo. Because people are talking now. Everyone's talking, and they ain't talking necessarily positive.
I'd rather it ends like that than another decision, man. I was just happy. I wanted someone to get knocked out cold. Like, when it was live, I thought he should have counted. But Kovalev was out for a couple of, I don't know, about at least 20, 30, maybe. Yeah, go for it.
I see my man Estek in the chat. Estek, you welcome to jump in. I told you, my man Jamal. My man Intangibles. Man, Intangibles still there? He's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, read out some of the chat, bro. Read out some of what we got there in the chat. My man Jamal Phoenix and Aztec, they in the chat.
All right, let's see. All right, let's start from here. Anthony McKen. It was clear that there was a silent agreement in that ring lady night. Jeff Mayweather was interviewed after the fight. He said before the knockout, both fought like they didn't want to hurt each other. No, I mean, Kovalev, if he tried to get reckless with Canelo, he would have gotten stopped, as I stated. I mean, you can't just get reckless against a counterpuncher like a Canelo, who hits hard too. He works the inside. So I don't really agree with that. The Fox Strike said, I think it's because how Canelo gets his big wins and that most don't consider him power pound number one. And I can see that. I mean, some of his wins are controversial. Some of his wins are close. Or many of his wins are close, actually. So I can see that. Most of his big wins are close or struggles. Yeah.
Yeah, almost all of them. Shit, I still don't believe he beat Austin Trout. I'm holding on to that shit.
Yeah, I was there. I watched that fight. I didn't think he beat Trout. We watched that live there. But and the Lara one, people don't think Lara beat him. Like, I don't think so. But go ahead.
No, I don't think Laura beat him. Laura was too inactive, and I think Canelo.
Oh, EJ thinks Laura beat him.
No, I don't.
He's a hater.
Yeah, I'll be hating on bloody Lara. No, I agree with Intangible. No, he inactive. He wasn't doing shit, and he was running around the bloody ring. Yo, Canelo beat his ass and beat him.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah, Canelo put on just enough of a body attack, in my opinion, to win.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really favor Laura style, I could see you giving it to him. But I don't know. Anthony McKen says, when was the last time Canelo cleaned out a weight class? I mean, he never cleaned out a weight class, but nor did Lomachenko.
Never.
They know they Floyd Mayweather. So what's your problem?
Never. He doesn't stay in weight classes long enough. He invents his own weight classes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I mean, Canelo. I mean, Floyd faced, the best fighters of his era. So, I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, who's really cleaned out a weight class besides Usyk and Terrence Crawford in boxing today, though?
I mean, do they really clean out the weight? Like, when we see clean out, do they fight the very best in their weight class when they were getting all the belts? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, Terrence Crawford, he got Ndongo, he got Victor Postol. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, Postol was probably number 2, but I mean, all the really good fighters who've just entered the division now, like Prograis and Taylor. So, I mean, it's not just the division you clean out; it's about the guys you've fought.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. People talk about clean out, but I said Usyk didn't fight, or he didn't fight them. There were some guys there. There was Dennis Levenbed. I know Guillermo Jones was older than the 2, but I would like to see that fight. And there was some other fights, but he already vacated the belt. And
EJ, if it was the Guillermo Jones from 6 years ago that fought old boy, I'd love to see that fight, but I don't know about this guy now.
Yeah, like
who else wins? David Haye, Alexander Usyk.
Okay. Go ahead, keep reading, bro.
All right. Soldier Viejo says, no, it wasn't. He could have thrown a strong uppercut once Canelo walked in close with the high guard. Kovalev never once threw a strong punch, and he dazed Canelo with a jab. He didn't really daze Canelo with a jab. I never saw that. Canelo, he doesn't really leave himself open for an uppercut, to be honest, because his guard is very tight, and he's always moving his head side to side. Aztec 101 says, I had Canelo down. I could see that. Jamel Felix says, Oscar has everyone paid off. I could see that too. Aztec,
is that what he said? Yeah. Oscar has everyone paid off. Hey, listen, that's a very good. The judges, the referee, you know what I'm saying? The whole scenario.
Yeah. I could tell the judge was a little bit biased towards Canelo because not like extremely, not to an extreme level, but I thought he was a little bit biased because Kovalev would use sort of inside tactics, but like using his shoulder, his arms, and I mean they weren't necessarily very blatant. I mean they were kind of ticky tack, and the ref really kind of cleaned it up. So I thought he's a little bit biased, a little bit, but I mean nothing really obvious. I mean, of course, if you really lean towards Kovalev, you may say the judges, but they weren't needed, I guess.
I hate Kovalev. I'm gonna put that out there. I hate that motherfucker. But I think the whole situation was biased against his punk ass. My opinion. He still got knocked out at the end of the day.
Yeah. And of course, the judges weren't needed. So, Aztec Note 101 says this knockout is a testament that every win for Canelo will be questioned. Yeah, Canelo will get the nastiest first round knockout ever, and it'll be staged. I mean, yeah, every single win by Canelo will be staged. I mean, or not staged. Every single win by Canelo will be questioned, just like Mayweather. Okay, every single one of Mayweather's fights were controversial. I even saw somebody who said that Mosley beat Mayweather, or Mosley knocked down Mayweather, and the referee robbed him of a knockout. Like, dude, everyone's going to be questioned. Everyone's going to be deeply scrutinized. Jamel Felix says, yo, my man is speaking the truth. Jamel Felix says, whoever's speaking now is speaking so much facts. Is that me? I don't know.
Holy on, man.
If his name is Jamel, he's probably agreeing with me.
Nah, it's my guy Jamal from my gym, and that's why my guy Jamal. It's different Jamal, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know this Jamal guy though. So Anthony McKen says almost every Canelo fight should be questioned from here on. Yeah, Canelo better get away from Golden Boy to make sure that all those victories are patched up.
Oscar did the same thing in his career, and Canelo's getting the same thing. This is what I'm trying to say. Like, the guy just won, right? I watched the fight with, by myself, and I looked, okay, he's not the knockout. So, all right, cool. And the next time I wake up, like, yo, he cheated, man. It's a fake. So, it's like, what? That's like, let me talk about this shit. So, like obviously people have mixed opinions, so you know what I'm saying, like judges.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's definitely a subject. Go ahead.
Soldier Viejo says, all this victory really does is make Floyd Mayweather that much greater. No other fighter beat him so easily. And I don't want to hear no Canelo is green or too young crap either.
Yeah,
Well,
that's right. That's right. No, I agree with that shit. Because you know
yeah, I
what?
don't like people making this all about Floyd, but it's pretty incredible that this guy who came up from super featherweight beat a guy who's just beat the biggest name at light heavyweight.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
pretty crazy.
Floyd made Canelo look stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
he
what
did.
makes him look better. 'Cause Floyd made him look dumb.
That fight
Floyd made him
reminded
look inept.
yes, that fight reminded me of James Toney versus Vasily Jarov.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Embarrassed him. Yeah. Aztec. Hey, my man Aztec jumped in. What's up, Aztec?
Yo, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? My man, you know, we just chime in, man. Chime in. What's your take, man? Fix, no fix? How you feeling?
It's a fix, man. That shit was WWE. That shit was fixed, dog.
Real?
Man, that's the biggest Canelo fan in the history of man. You know he ain't calling it a fix. He's throwing.
Oh no, it was no fix, man. Kovalev was put in a coma, man. Come on, dog. That shit was. Look. I'm sitting
The
back.
only person that thinks that was a fix is Brian the Barber. Because Brian the Barber sucks Kovalev's cock.
But go ahead, Aztec. Talk of it.
Look, man, it was a good fight. I thought Kovalev had a good game plan. I saw what he was doing. He was winning on my scorecard. He was throwing a lot of punches, and I think his plan was getting the output to pretty much overshadow what anything Canelo was doing. So trying to limit those counters by not completely throwing heavy punches, just tapping them, and then sneaking a right hand every now and then. But, you know, he wasn't able to make it to the 12th round. And that's where, you know, he fucked up.
My man in the chat says, yeah, go back and watch the exchange. He's trying to say there was some eye contact going on, boy. He's trying to say there was some looks. He said, it was time. It was time for you to go down. Oh, yo. Pity pat punches thrown, my man said. I think so.
Bro, I think I know what he's talking about. I think it was the eighth round where I thought Canelo was hurt because Canelo backed up and just went to the ropes and Kovalev didn't do shit. He's sitting there throwing these bullshit ass jabs. I'm like, yo, attack this motherfucker. He wasn't doing shit. I think that might be what he's talking about.
Maybe it is, but listen to this.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't think he was visibly hurt, but I think something Kovalev hit him with that stung him a bit.
Yeah, why didn't you give him this boy credit? Are they just hating? I mean, this is a good victory against a light heavyweight. Why are they hating? Why they call him fix?
Come on, man. This isn't his first great victory. We've seen this hate from the beginning of the career. Come on. It's nothing new.
Yeah, I still don't think this is Canelo's best victory. I think his best victory is still either the Golovkin second fight or the Cotto fight, in my opinion. And I know the Cotto fight was on, people ask questions about that, but I mean, Cotto had just come off of two big victories.
Nah, man, I can't give him credit for Cotto, man. Not after I see my brethren from fucking Williamsburg whoop Cotto's ass. Nah, I can't give him credit for that one. Nah.
Cotto
got his ass whooped.
No, hell no. I give him credit for Cotto. It's Cotto's fault that it took that long to make the fight.
I give him credit for Golovkin because I thought he beat Golovkin twice, but I can't give him the Cotto credit. I can't give him.
No, but he was chasing Cotto for years. This was a big backstory. It was like 3 years in the making where he was chasing Cotto. Cotto went after Martinez. That's the only reason why the conversation between Canelo and Triple G even came up was because Canelo had to chase Cotto to 160, and he came with a title that he really didn't give a fuck about because he ended up vacating it later, right? So all he wanted was to fight Cotto, took him out of the division, and now everyone's talking about Triple G. So yeah, Triple G's a good win, but you got to give him credit for Cotto. Cotto's the one that decided to move up. He's the one that decided to make the fight drag out 3 years. That's his fault.
Mm-hmm. And Cotto is a legend, And he's one of the greatest fighters of his generation. 4 division champion. Beat Sergio Martinez. Beat Zab Judah, Mosley. Gave Mayweather a great fight.
I think he broke the record against Mosley on most punches landed on Mosley in his entire career.
Yeah, Cotto was a bad motherfucker. He's a very sharp fighter, and he could punch too. Like Paulie Malignaggi, I think when he faced Paulie Malignaggi, he broke his orbital bone and his ribs.
No, I could tell by the way freaking Paulie looks. You can see the damage after, like, pre-fight and post-fight after Cotto. You can see Paulie has a lot of scar tissue.
Mm-hmm. He does. Supposedly we're behind on the comments. Hamed says jumping off, might jump back on. All right. Let's go back to the comments real quickly. Anthony McKen says Canelo's best victories were Triple G twice, and I had him winning both fights. Cotto didn't want no smoke with Canelo at all. I ended up fighting him. It ended up being a very good fight. Cotto did his thing, but Canelo was younger, fresher. Ended up winning.
One thing with Canelo that I think is helping moving up in weight divisions, fighting different styles, is that when he gets these legendary boxers, these living legends that are walking around, and yeah, maybe they're on their way out, he takes advantage of those 12 rounds to learn as much as possible. Like, there's people that have trained with Floyd Mayweather for years. They trained with him, his father, and they don't pick up the techniques. Canelo needed 12 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's an honor roll student right there.
Yeah, he took an ass with him for real. But he loved. It's hard to hit. He barely got hit in that fight. That's why, like, when people say it was a fix, I was like, hold up, he didn't get hit that much. And Canelo would have rushed. Canelo might have come off that yard fight, and he might be carrying some baggage, but
Yeah, Kovalev was constantly on the back foot, so he couldn't really generate the same amount of power that he usually does. Anthony McKen says Miguel Cotto is a boxer's boxer. He really is. He's a warrior. Had the referee not stepped in there against Margarito or had he not taken a knee against Margarito in the first fight, he would have died. He would have.
Yeah.
Seriously, he would have died. I mean, 12 rounds of just getting your face beaten up with plaster.
So they say it was plaster. Sergey Martinez took the same thing. He was okay. And what's his name? Some other people took it. They weren't busted up. So I don't know. But that's what they said. He was using some shit.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, they probably had a slicker style than Cotto. Cotto just came forward. Soldier Viejo said, yes, it stung him. Y'all need to let that brother talk more. Oh, Ben Umar?
You talking about Ben Umar?
They say we should let him talk more? Or Aztec?
Yes, I don't know who you're talking about. Carry it, man. Umar's always for science. But I just, I thought I let him hang out. And I was like, yo, brother, why is there so much controversy, bro? Oscar De La Hoya, he's being done for some court case with some woman. Just a couple of months ago, Canelo and Ryan Garcia was going to leave. They were going to leave Oscar De La Hoya. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yo, I think they should leave, man. They need to get their bag and leave.
Where they going to go? Al Heyman?
Nah, no.
Just like partner up with Eddie Hearn or something.
Top Rank? Nah, not Eddie Hearn. Top Rank?
No. Canelo's
No,
probably,
Eddie Hearn.
yeah,
Probably
Canelo.
Eddie Hearn.
Eddie
Yeah,
Hearn
probably just.
Eddie Hearn know what to do with him.
You know what? At this point, they can promote themselves. I mean, I'm sure it's most of Canelo's money that's being used for the promotion of his fights. A lot of this is promoted by Golden Boy and Canelo Promotions already.
Oh, Canelo's got his own promotional company, right?
Yeah, so he could just branch off and just do his own thing.
Yeah, that means that's yeah. I guess so. I guess so. I don't think it's a good idea though. I don't think so.
I mean, at this point, with the way that Oscar De La Hoya is kind of, I mean, he's 1 foot in and 1 foot out of his addiction. So, you know what I mean? Like he's sometimes he looks sober, sometimes he looks like he had a rough night. So you gotta understand, like, when this guy's signing contracts, making promises on your behalf. We already saw how Canelo got pissed with the whole Shevchenko situation. So that's sorry. He lost that title because of the lack of communication between him and Golden Boy.
Well, Derevchenko, who did Derevchenko face?
Triple G.
Oh yeah. No, he didn't kill Triple G, bro. He killed Triple G.
Yeah, that's the dude that chipped up Triple G, right? The one that whooped Triple G's ass.
Yeah, he beat Shaq.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's funny how styles make fights because Jacobs did really well against Shevchenko. You know, Jacobs didn't really struggle at all. It was a good fight. It was close, but he beat him fair and square.
I think he was Jonathan.
I thought Jacobs beat. Hold up, I thought Jacobs beat Canelo. Matter of fact.
What?
Nah, I did.
Yeah,
I'm dead ass. A lot of his fights can go either way, but I don't know how nobody don't see that.
I didn't think so though.
Bro, Jacobs got schooled.
Not everybody thought that. Not everybody's gonna agree with me. But I'm just saying, I thought he won that fight.
I thought Jacobs.
Or at least it was a draw.
At least draw.
I don't know,
but I knew he wasn't gonna get a decision, bro. I knew he wasn't getting a decision, so I wasn't crying over it. You didn't see me make no videos about it, but I thought he won.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, like I said, like this is all right. There's gonna be people that are gonna come out and say he lost. I mean, every fight. I'm telling you, man. Even this one, people are saying even though he knocked out his opponent.
Fight. Now that's exaggerating.
Bro, he clearly beat Jacobs. How did you see Jacobs winning?
I don't know. The same way I seen him beating Golovkin the first time, but everybody tells me that he lost to Golovkin the first time.
Golovkin. You can't compare that. Golovkin is actually a fight that's debatable. You see both sides debating it. This you're going left field, bro. You're
no, it's how I score fights, bro. Just like I said earlier, I thought Austin Trout beat him. I'm sure you disagree with that. I thought Lara beat him. That's just the way I scored it.
No. I could see Lara close fight. Trout knocked down. He lost that fight, bro.
Was that Lara fight? Or was that Trout?
Trout got knocked down. He lost, bro. He lost.
No. Nobody out here is agreeing with you that, bro. We thought Trout won that fight. Everybody over here thought Trout won that fight.
Oh man. All the best highlights that you see for Canelo are him making Trout miss. How is it that his best defensive highlights are shown and it's Trout fight?
Highlights, bro.
No. This is from the actual fight. I've seen this fight, bro.
I don't watch highlights. I score fights round by round.
I'm not talking about scoring. I'm talking about what did you see Trout do to win that fight?
No. You score the fight round by round. That's how you do
it.
Exactly. That's how you score a fight round by round.
So how did he get 8 rounds to make up for his knockdown?
Canelo didn't land nothing. He was on the Trout was outweighing him before the knockdown, bro. He was touching.
No. Knockdown was in the 6th round. Mike and he wasn't winning every round up to the 6th round. So my question, what do you mean, no, bro?
My first round I gave him was the knockdown, and then from then Trout was different. The fight was close. I gave it by Trout by 2. It wasn't like no blowout. And no one ever said.
No, I'm not saying it's a blowout, but he got knocked down, which is separated him. He never made up for it.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say to you is that the early rounds I gave to Trout. But what I'm saying is that if Umar had it for Jacob, then when you ask the question, is like, how did you score it? That's how you do. You don't say the highlights, bro. You talk about how you score the rounds. Like, what?
No. That I wasn't talking about scoring the round.
They can do.
I'm asking,
We can direct you to our hangout, our live hangout where we scored it live. It's on YouTube still. You can go listen to it. You can see why we scored it the way we scored it.
That got took down, man. Showtime took it down.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Damn, they be striking everything, boy.
Hold on. Were you guys the one also thought that Trout won the round that he got dropped in?
No, I don't think you can knock down. But when he got back up, he won the rest of the round after that.
Canelo won that round. He got knocked down 10.
No, because I remember this was a common argument around that time. I remember this specifically. I was at Channel 2. So I remember a lot of people were using the argument, and I'm not saying you guys were. I'm just justifying why I'm asking.
Listen, I'm an official amateur judge, right? I judge fight out of the criteria. Now, amateur is different from pro, but I understand the criteria scoring. Now, I'm trying to tell you, yeah, if like all I'm trying to say to you is that when I watched that fight, I had Trout winning. But the thing is, even if I had Trout winning, Trout said after the fight he didn't fully won the fight, so he don't mean nothing, right?
Exactly. Exactly. When he said that bullshit, me and EJ washed our hands of it. We're like, fuck it. Then you lost.
We're not gonna change our opinion. That's how we score it. So if Umar had it, like I disagree with Umar. Like I disagree. I thought Canelo won the fight, but that's how he scored it, and that's it. It ain't nothing big. Like, it ain't gonna change.
Yeah, on the Lara fight. Yeah, EJ disagrees with me on the Lara fight. So it's not like we always agree.
No. No.
I had Canelo winning that fight. Everyone was disagreeing. I said, I give a fuck. That guy ran the whole fucking fight.
Yeah, you the only person on the hangout that night. We were going at you for that shit.
How the fuck did Lara win that? He won that. He ran the whole fight. He talking shit, and I said, nah, Canelo won the fight. So what I'm trying to say to you is that, like, Aztec, like. You got your opinion. That's it. It ain't gonna change nothing. The result is the result, and that's it, bro. Like no one.
Oh, my only argument on this one is my difference is the Lara fight is actually, even though I can talk shit as a Canelo fan, the Lara fight, to be honest, is very, very debatable. It's right down the middle. I can see a draw. I can see it going both ways. With Trout. There's no way that I see Trout winning 7 or 8 rounds.
Yeah, we heard you, bro.
To make up. There's no way.
Hey, we see it different, and there's not more than that. We ain't gonna go around in circles, but that's what you see in it. But what I'm saying is this: we're gonna talk about Canelo in general. Like I was surprised though. I thought, because honestly, after I watched the fight, I'm gonna come on here and people gonna give that boy his credit, but like you are obviously, you know what I'm saying, not being a fan, but you know you be fair. But I was like, yo, people were saying it's unfair, saying like Oscar De La Hoya brought all the judges, brought the referee off. Don't you think the referee, when he went down, the referee jumped in premature?
I mean, they do. I mean, EJ, it's obvious that Oscar, the fucking rapist, is over there paying people off.
Yeah, but you do realize that the only thing they did was steal the KO from Canelo. It didn't really help. It didn't help him. If he would have been counted out, it's a knockout. If he would, but because the ref jumped in, now it's a TKO. We all saw that. That was a knockout.
The rapist. Listen, I ain't got no problem.
Yeah, I'm not. He is a rapist, allegedly. But nobody's disputing that. I just didn't like the way that fucking referee. As soon as the dude's knees hit the mat,
I never heard he was a rapist. I always thought he was gay.
No. There's some new charges on him. Some women got some charges on him. Look it up. I'm not making it.
Oh, now he's
a fucking loose cannon. Oscar.
That's what I'm saying. Canelo and all his fighters. Right now, this is not a good time to be with this guy. This guy is fucking. He's back on those.
He's bad. They all need to get away from him. Canelo needs to get away from him too.
I don't know about that, man. I like Oscar. I like Oscar and Canelo. I think they're good for each other. I don't think no one can look after Canelo the way Oscar does, because Oscar. You should know, Aztec, he has a love and hate relationship because what he did to Chavez Senior, you know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, the way I looked at that fight, I said, bro, Canelo's like a Mexican superhero, bro. Bro, he beat all like Mayweather was doing the same thing, beating people from all nations, Puerto Rico, Mexico, England, and Canelo's doing the same thing. He's beating everyone on the.
He's not getting that kind of love in Mexico, though.
Huh?
He's not getting that love in Mexico, though.
You sure isn't. El Terrible, Juan Manuel.
No,
They ain't fucking with him.
I heard this as well. I heard Barrera don't like him. I heard Morales doesn't like him. I was like, yo, wow. I was like,
And Juan Manuel Marquez is one of my top 2 fighters of all time. He don't fuck with him, so I don't fuck with him. How about that?
You know, they like one Francisco Estrada. They like him better. I was like, yo, bro, like Canelo ain't getting that love. Maybe because he's with Oscar. That's how I feel. What Aztec 101 is saying. Like,
it's because they're kind of jealous.
But honestly, I was ready to give Canelo credit after this performance he put on against Triple G the second time, bro. But then he goes and fights fucking Rocky Fielding. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, man. I'm not trying to watch that shit. And you fighting that fucking. What's that other dude, though?
Bro, what are you talking about? But most of the fighters out there, their entire resumes are a bunch of Rocky Fieldings. You're getting a guy that, you might get a Rocky Fielding, but then you'll get a Triple G.
Eric Morales lost to fucking Zahir Rahim in his prime.
I want to see him fight Badu Jack. If he fights Badu Jack, then I'll give him credit.
Badu Jack is what he needs to get for credit, even though Badu Jack lost his last fight.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if Badu Jack lost his last fight. Badu Jack will beat the dog shit out of Canelo.
Benavidez.
All right.
It's a bat. He will need to beat the dog shit out of him with a bat.
That's the shit right there. That's the fucking shit right there. You know what I mean? Hey, what's getting him with Jaime?
That's a good ass fight, man. That's a good ass fight. I don't know why you talking against it. That'd be a good fight.
Yo, what's getting him with Jaime? How come Jaime wasn't on the fucking card, man? Jaime's nice. Why don't Jaime got him on here?
I'm not saying it won't be a bad. I'm not saying it won't be a good fight. I think it'll be a good fight, but that's not going to define Canelo's legacy. Canelo, what really defines his legacy is how he does against the other champions at 175, like Bivol and Beterbiev.
Now let me ask you a question. Right? Let's say Adonis Stevenson wasn't fucking brain dead and he's a half a retard now. So that never happened. You think Canelo would fight him if he was still Superman? Because I'm telling you right now, he would.
He would still. I mean, why not?
Because he gets sparked the fuck out.
Why?
Dude, Canelo has the defense to be able to slip his punches, bro.
I mean, why wouldn't he? Do you think at this point he's scared to get knocked out?
Yeah, man, Canelo's never been.
It's not about.
I don't understand that argument. I don't understand that argument of he would do this and he wouldn't do that.
You're injecting words into my mouth. I never said the motherfucker was scared. I'm telling you that.
You said he wouldn't fight him. I think it'd be a great fight.
He wouldn't, because his handlers would not allow it. Because they know what time it is.
They didn't allow Lara. Look, everyone said he wouldn't fight Lara. Everyone said he wouldn't fight Angulo. Everyone said he wouldn't fight Kirkland. People were saying he wouldn't fight Trout. People were saying he wouldn't fight G. People were saying, dude, this is a reoccurring story, bro.
Hold on. Kirkland's a bum.
No, he's a bum after he gets fucked up. Everyone that gets fucked up is a bum after they get fucked up.
Carlos Bonner
that got deported. Yo, no one followed Lara after he lost. That's it. No one followed him.
This is what kills me about people, man. You act like I don't have a history on YouTube. I've been saying Kirkland's a bum for like 8 years.
Yeah,
this is nothing new.
There's another one that was saying Canelo won't fight Kirkland. You gotta understand that was an existing group.
I think you couldn't argue with some guys in the head.
Okay, let me be specific. 78 Sports TV really wanted this fight.
Nobody cares about 78 Sports.
No. What else about him is that if you can go watch the videos, there was people that wanted to see that fight. They were saying the point. This is not something I'm making up,
bro. If you got a problem with 78, you need to take that up with him.
No, I don't have a problem. It was the content that was about that fight, and that was a fight he wanted to see. There were people who wanted to see it.
I think Umo said he don't rate him, so that's move one. You know what I mean? He don't rate him, so then why you gonna go in there? He don't rate him. So let's move on. Hold on to stuff.
Like if you're gonna argue with me, you gotta argue with my points. I've been saying Kirkland's a bum since day one. When EJ, help me out, EJ. What's homeboy's name? Homeboy's name that got deported that whooped his ass.
Whooped who us? Who? Kirkland?
Yeah, he whooped Kirkland's ass.
I don't care about Kirkland. I ain't trying to talk about that. It's scary to talk
about. That's exactly. Kirkland's a bum. Why are we talking about Kirkland, man?
The point is, it's not how good those fighters are. It's the demand by some people for those fighters.
Pointing out Kirkland out of the list.
Canelo did end up fighting them. That is the point. It's not necessarily how good they are.
all I'm saying is this, yeah. Canelo right now is sitting there. Let's talk about what's he gonna do next, because there's no point talking about the past. It's gone. He's beat Kovalev. Kovalev's been a long-standing light heavyweight, and he's conducted himself.
He's gonna fight. I'm telling you right now, he's what he's gonna do. He's gonna fight some random light heavyweight from England.
Let me finish what I'm saying. He's conducting himself pretty good, apart from the whole thing with Don Stevie, so I don't fucking rate that shit, right? But other than that, he's fought everyone at light heavyweight. He's been taken out by Canelo. What does Canelo do now? Does he fight at 168? Does he continue to fight? Does he try and unify the division? The Bivol fight's there. The Verdo fight right there. You know what I'm trying to say? The Mirrors fight. I want to see that. Oh, hey, what about the other guy? What's the other guy? The other one 168. Gilbert Ramirez and the Verdo fight. So there's some good.
Yeah, he can fight Gilberto Ramirez.
Yeah, and there's some real good fights at 168, right?
But I'll take that. But he's not to fight him.
I like them fights at 168. I think there's some good Mexican fights right there. Some good shit. I think so. You know what I mean? I like them fights there at 168. What will we do next? Anyone know what we'll do next?
I mean, he could always go back down and just pick up a belt against Andre.
Yeah, he could. But I mean, I think it's going to be a much tougher for him to go down to 160, considering the muscle he's probably put on for this fight. I think it'll be tougher for him.
That would be the stupidest thing he ever did if he try to drop 15 pounds and go back to 160. If he's going to drop, he better go to 168.
Early in the year, I think he's going to fight like in May. He could do it.
Nah, he better go to 1. If he's dropping, he better only go to 168. Do not drop all that weight. That'll be some dumb well, it won't be as bad as what Roy Jones did, but it'll be bad.
I think he gonna stay at light heavy and then fucking district people again, man. He put the right rehydration clause and beat people's asses, and people don't give a fuck. Because the way I look at it, right? The way I look at it, like, if you decide to fight, whatever the circumstances, that's your business. You know what I mean? That's what you're supposed to negotiate. So I don't want to hear no bullshit. We got rehydration clause. I don't want to hear it. Then fucking don't sign the fight. Then that's the way I see it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people.
I have a question. What do you guys feel about same day weigh-in?
Same day weigh-in is good. It's good, but sometimes
I think it's risky though.
Yeah, because sometimes on the TV thing, if that don't work out, like sometimes they can't have a fight. You know what I mean? The commission.
Yeah, that's kind of a gamble, because the point of a same day weigh-in for health is kind of to force fighters to fight closer to their natural weight. What if somebody doesn't abide to that?
No, they should buy to it. No, I know they should.
That's gonna force a whole bunch of fighters to get out of the fucking divisions they're in. I know that much.
Yeah,
that's gonna change the whole landscape, bro.
Yeah. People gonna behave themselves and be
dudes like your boy Errol Smith. He gonna have to fight at 160. he ain't gonna be able to fucking fight at 147 the same day. Be too drained.
Fucking Sean Porter's gonna have to fight at cruiserweight.
All them guys buffing up, right?
Imagine Hurd.
Jared Hurd have to fight at super heavyweight.
Yeah, Hurd is buff. He gonna have to fight at cruiserweight easy, bro. Hurd is gigantic.
Yeah, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is gonna have to fight at super mega heavyweight.
I heard he was arrested the other day. Actually, I heard he got arrested. Chavez Jr. I got arrested the other day. Man,
Chavez Jr.'s. I highly doubt Chavez Jr. is actually Chavez Sr.'s or Julio Cesar Chavez's son. I really doubt it.
Yeah,
I really think they just pulled some Mexican guy out of the streets and said, just put on a pair of gloves, throw some punches, and we'll put you in the ring against some guys who can make some money. Son.
Yo, Chavez Jr., he's not that bad, man. He's just not living up to his father's name. I understand it, but he's not the worst fighter I've ever seen.
I mean, he beat Andy Lee. I mean,
he's not trash, but he's not great.
That's why I picked Andy Lee to whoop his ass, and I was wrong on that one.
Yeah. Well, he's not disciplined, and that's like a lot of fighters. Because remember again,
exactly. He's a pothead, man. He grew up rich. He didn't grow up in no fucking barrio like his father did, hungry. He grew up fucking rich.
You can't be like fighting with rich when you're rich. That's the whole point of fighting. Like that's why Canelo. That's why people think Kovalev kind of like some people thought he might have died to get that money and got cashed out. I don't think so. I just think he was hurt from the yard fight. But what I'm saying is that remember again, fighters. That's the only way of earning income. So if you got money already, what the fuck are you fighting for?
Exactly. Yo, easy. That's why like Floyd's. That's why none of Floyd's kids fight, because they're a bunch of fucking faggots. They couldn't fight. They've been rich their whole lives.
Hey, and there's a backstory to this. You guys got to understand. Like right now, the whole situation with Chavez Jr. trying to prove himself. A lot of it has to do with there was a lot of weight put on him back when he was starting his career. This is like when he was very, very young, when he used to fight in the same and train around the same area as Canelo. They actually had, when they were young and they both went pro, that was big news. So they've had like a rivalry from the beginning. So Chavez Sr. had always been against Canelo. Just he was always against Canelo because he wanted his son to be the face of Mexican boxing.
Oh, okay.
It never happened.
Yeah, it never happened.
And out of respect.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, go ahead.
Out of respect, even though Chavez is not, or Chavez Jr. isn't qualified to beat some of these guys, he's gonna keep taking risks until he wins because he's trying to prove something. Now it's just him trying to make dad happy or something,
Hold on, is Chavez Jr. even still fighting? Who is he fighting? I ain't seen him fight in a minute.
He's fighting Daniel Jacobs.
Oh shit, he's fighting Danny Jacobs. He's gonna get fucked up. What? Why would he do? He's gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, he could get fucked up there, and it's at 168.
He might be all right. At 168.
No, he did because he can't really make 168, bro.
Right.
He can't make that weight. He's gonna struggle to make that weight.
He's a cruiserweight.
If you look at him right now, though, he looks slim. He looks on point.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he's been cutting weight better lately. I don't know, but I still think he's gonna get fucked up. But we'll see.
I think his technique is gonna get him in trouble.
You say Chavez hates on Canelo? Is that what you're saying?
Well, early on in the career, I mean, if you've ever seen Fox Deportes, this is like has been an ongoing thing already. Like Chavez Sr. just never liked Canelo. He always, said there were things he needed to work on. He could, when he beat Angulo, he was really, really critical on Canelo's win, even though he fucked him up. So he was, and
because he was Oscar, right? It's because he was Oscar. That's what you're saying, right? Really?
It could be too a little bit because he's promoted by Oscar, but you got to understand, I think it's all tied together. I think the only reason why Oscar found him and started promoting him is because he found out through the whole media of the whole because I think they were in a tournament together when they were kids, and Canelo won.
Okay, well, if that's the case, that's some you need to behave because I heard that like a lot of Mexicans they don't really fuck with Canelo like that. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow. But
no, it's 50-50. It's not they don't really fuck with him. It's 50-50.
Well, you got 100%. Like usually hard. Like behind Marquez was 100%. Herrera, Morales, it was just different like parts of Mexico City.
Because you're getting the perspective of the ones that speak English. Okay. There's a whole other world of opinions like that you're not that will make it a little bit more even. You're gonna see a lot more people on the other side.
Well,
some people.
I give him his credit though after the fight. That's what I'm saying. So I do this thing because people discredit him, but at the same time I was like, yo, I'm giving his credit, but we will talk about like why people are not giving his credit. You know what I mean? Because like, what does he do now to solidify himself as like the man? I mean, he already beat like Kohler. If he beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like, can he retire now? Is he gonna retire now? What else does he need to do? He's a full-weight champion. Where's the next payday? Like, who's the next big guy? What does he need to do? Could he retire right now? Is he a Hall of Famer right now?
Hall of Famer, I don't know, but yeah, I think.
And that's another thing I got a problem with. With that montage they did when they showed Henry Armstrong, that's a load of horseshit.
Yeah, Henry Armstrong won the undisputed lineal championship.
Exactly, and back when Henry Armstrong was fighting, there was one belt. It wasn't fucking 17 belts. I hate when they compare like niggas like Adrian Broner. Oh, I'm a four-time weight champion. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but
Get the fuck out of here.
There was never a time in boxing where there was one belt.
Well, Umar, they're not saying undisputed.
Henry Armstrong held 3 belts simultaneously in 3 different weight classes.
He went for 4.
Yeah.
It came up short.
Yeah, but what? Yeah, but Umar, like
And people are gonna say, you know, oh well, there weren't that many belts. There was only one, you know, official championship back then. Henry Armstrong had to get through all-time legends to get his championships.
It's not comparable. That was disrespectful last night. I was like me and Bouncer and Mr. Doc were watching the fight together. I was like, what the fuck? This is disrespect.
But the thing is, though, I mean, that's kind of a part of marketing, you know. Compare Canelo to a legend, you know. I mean, Canelo's a first ballot Hall of Famer right now. He'll go down as probably a legend, but I mean, that's just a part of marketing.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame fighter already. He's a Hall of Fame fighter already. But what I'm saying is, I don't like that type of shit, man. It's like when they were saying, Triple G was already better than fucking Carlos Monzon, and come on, man.
No. This is the problem I have with it. The point of it, if the point of it is to motivate other because other fighters need to look at that and say, I want to be compared to the greats too. They have to. They need that motivation, or else why the fuck are they going to do it, man? Like there's no reason. They can collect the check and not take risks. So I don't see a problem.
What Canelo and these fighters nowadays are doing is not comparable to what the fighters they're comparing them to did. It's not comparable. We're being fair.
The main difference between the two, you know, it's not comparable as far as like they're not fighting the same fighter 5 times. You know, they don't have 150 fights under their belt. You know, they're not doing that anymore. You know, now
the main thing you're missing right now, there was 1 belt, not fucking 4. One man could be world champion.
There was never a time in bro. There's never been a time in history. There's never been a time in boxing history where there was just 1 belt.
Bruh, I mean, it was 1 belt per weight class. Big belt.
There was never a time in history where there was 1 belt per weight class. You could win belts from your city. You could be the champion.
Bruh, no. We're not talking about the New York.
Bro, you ain't listening. I was talking, so let me finish what I'm saying. You don't like after 1 champion. All it is did he beat the best at each division? When he was at 154, did he beat the best at 154? Did he beat the best at 160? Yeah, he did. Did he beat the best at 160, 168? No, he didn't. But did he beat one of the best at 175? Yes, he did. So he's got 2 middleweight, and to be honest with you, the middleweight and like heavyweight is more important than the bloody junior middleweight and the 168. 168 is usually a European division. You understand what I'm saying? So he beat one of the best guys in 175. So you don't have to get all the belts, bro. You don't need to do that. You just beat the guy who's considered the best, and Kovalev is considered because of what he's done at light heavyweight. He's one of the best. So we don't have to go around and getting all the belts. You don't need to do that. Just beat the guy who they say is the best at the division. And that's what you do, bro. So you don't need to get into the argument about that shit.
I never said he needed to get all the belts. I said he shouldn't be compared to Henry Armstrong. This guy's talking about there was never 1 belt. He's being facetious with that. I'm not talking about the New York State athletic title and all that. I'm talking about the world championship. There was only 1 world champion in those weight classes those days. Like, I don't know what he's talking about.
He's trying to say that you don't need to get all the belts, and I agree with you. You don't need to just beat the guy.
I never said that. I just said you can't compare him to what them dudes had to do.
Let's go back. Did they compare him to Henry Armstrong? Is that what they did?
Yes. If you didn't watch the fight, I thought he was sleeping. Exactly, EJ. They did a montage since 1938. This never has been done. They showing Henry Armstrong up there comparing it to it. That shit rubbed me the wrong way, bro.
Omar, you know how that is, man. Don't be like, come on, Omar. Like, if you know the truth and you disagree with them, fine. But it's not nothing to get bent out of shape for, bro. Like, there ain't nothing to get bent out of shape.
No, I'm not. EJ, I'm not bent out of shape. I'm not cursing nobody out. I'm talking about I just don't like the fucking marketing, the way they do that shit. I hate what it. EJ, remember when Homeboy was attacking us on Twitter? That clown that was in love with Triple G, saying he was better than this guy. He's the greatest of all time. I hate that dumb shit, bro. I hate that shit.
Where he is now, but what I'm trying to say to you, though, people have their opinions, and that's their opinion. But what I'm saying to you is they they're in the midst of their career. They just beat some good fighters right now. And then that guy who's considered the best. Who's considered the best? Kovalev was one of the best in the division. No one can say, yeah, he owed him two, but he still could have been, and he still was dangerous. And my man beat him. That's why I want to give Canelo his credit. I just woke up to hear all this stuff like people ain't giving me his credit. I was like, yo, so what's going on? We talking about, but listen to this, right? End of the day, wherever you rate Canelo, I'm trying to say, does he still have work to do, or does he call it a day? That was my question to the panel. So I want to hear you guys talk about that. So I want to hear. Go ahead.
Where do we rate him? You said where do we rate him?
Yeah, does he retire today and just chill, or who does he fight next?
Well, if he retired today, I would say he's a Hall of Fame fighter. But I'm not rating him as one of the greatest of all time. No, I'm not.
Oh, well, he's a great fighter. He doesn't have to be a great at any weight class because he's multiple weight class. He's like
because the reason why I say I don't think he's great because I don't think he's been great at any weight class.
Wow. Well, he beat Triple G, bro.
Yeah, and Danny Jacobs.
He beat Triple G, bro.
And Miguel Cotto.
Listen, EJ, you know, like I'm being fair, EJ. I'm being consistent. You know how I felt about Triple G. This is consistency. I'm not making this shit up as I go. I never was that big on Triple G.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, man, like you can only go by like the guys to be the best. That's what I'm trying to say. The best guy in the division was Triple G. He beat him. He busted him up in the second one for real. He did, right? And then he knocked out Canelo. Like these guys are considered like years ago was like the most dangerous, hard-hitting guys in boxing. And Canelo whooped them, whooped both of them good. He whooped them
all right,
good.
so if you want to give him credit for being an all-time great at 160, fair enough. But that's the only division you have an argument with.
No. I'm saying he's at 175. What does he do? Does he continue this?
Well, yeah. His career's not over. He's still in his 20s. We gotta see what he does at 175. I'm not saying he's done. I'm just talking. You said if he retires today.
Let me ask you guys a question. Where do you guys think Canelo ranks amongst the all-time great Mexican fighters?
Mexican fighters? I don't know, man.
Low.
I think he's in the top 10, though.
No, I don't think he's in the top 10.
Yeah, he is. Get out of here.
Personally,
Hold on. But, you know, that's a good question. But I think I would literally have to spend a day thinking about that.
He's in the top 10. Salvador Sanchez.
Because he's not. I can give you 5 that he's not going ahead right now. But I would have to really give you the rest of the top 10.
You got Salvador Sanchez. You got Julio Cesar Chavez. You got Finito.
Marquez, Barrera.
Not Barrera. I got Canelo above Barrera all time.
And Morales. He's not above any of those 5 for me.
He's above Barrera.
Not above any of those 5 for me.
There was some other dudes. There was some other Mexicans back in the day. What about Michael Carbajal? I don't know if they consider Mexicans. Michael Carbajal, maybe Mexican American. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe he's in the top 10. There's some other guys in there. You know what I mean? Hey,
he's not top 5. He's not top 5. But I'd have to think about the other 5. But he's not top 5 in my opinion.
I think he's in front of Andy Ruiz though. Tell you that.
Well, I don't know, because Andy Ruiz is a freaking Chicano. I don't know how we're judging this. I don't know if we can use America. I don't know how we're doing this.
He says he's Mexican.
I know that. I don't know.
He says he's Mexican.
Yeah, they're all Mexican. They're all Mexican, but sometimes I can't speak for Mexicans, bro. I can't speak for them. But sometimes it gets convoluted. Let Aztec tell you about that. He's better than speaking about me.
I think maybe I'm just saying. I think he's in the top 10 though. I don't think his wins are better than like Salvador Sanchez wins, or I don't think his wins are better than Julio Chavez wins. I don't think so. Marquez, now not yet.
Yo, where my boy D-Sound at, man? I need D-Sound to speak on the Mexican politics. Where he at, man? I need my boy D-Sound.
I don't know. What's up, Hamid? Hamid coming back. What's up, Hamid?
Yo, Hamid. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he loud and clear, bro.
All right, what are you guys talking about? All-time Mexicans.
Where does Canelo rank in the top 10 Mexicans? Is he ranked in the top 10 or not? Or Mexico all-time?
Yeah, I'd put him top 10, but
top 5.
I don't know. It's hard to put him
top 5.
At the moment it's hard to judge because it's
yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's nice and clear. Yeah, go ahead. Where you got Canelo in the top all-time greats? Top 20. Where you got him? Top 15. Aztec.
For me or the other guy?
That was Aztec. I think he's gone. Yeah, go ahead, Hamid. Go ahead.
I'd say top 10, But I'm
You
saying
know what,
it's hard to.
EJ? That's such a good question, yo. I'm gonna. I haven't made a boxing video in a minute. I'm gonna fucking do that tonight, and by tomorrow, I'm dropping the top 10 Mexicans because I gotta really think about it. I don't think Canelo makes that top 10. I don't
You
think he
don't
does.
you don't think he's a top
What?
10?
Who do
Bro,
you put ahead of him then?
Damn, top 10. I think he's in the top 10, though.
Duke,
He's late,
how
though.
can Canelo
I
Alvarez
got
be
him
probably
late,
the best
though.
fighter of his generation,
I got him like
not be a
8,
top 10 Mexican
like 8
fighter?
or 7. I got him like 8 or 7, though.
There is no Mexican fighter outside. Is there a Mexican fighter outside of Canelo Alvarez that's the best fighter of his own generation?
What
Marquez?
do you mean generation? Like now
Marquez fucking not that fucking patchy,
Chavez, man.
Chavez.
Nah,
What are you
Canelo's
talking about?
better
And
than you.
Marquez.
Hey, Brera was fucking nice one time, bro.
You see, I'm gonna have to get off the line, yo. I'm gonna curse somebody out. Do not dare tell me Canelo's better than Juan Manuel Marquez. Don't try it.
Ain't no one doing that, bro. We just
He gonna get me going.
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying. Canelo Alvarez deserves a spot in the top 10 easily.
Yeah, no, I know.
Maybe top
I
five.
got you. Umar, what's your top 10? Why you ain't got me top 10?
No, I don't have a top 10 right now. I really wanna use some time because I don't want to be fucked with stuff. That's very important. Mexican fighters have a good
he's saying he wants to make a list. Like he wants to.
But I tell you this, he's definitely not in the top 5. I got top 5 off my head. He's not in that top 5.
He ain't top 5. He ain't
Definitely not. So I gotta see if he's in that top 10, and I want to give it time to think about it. I want to give Mexican fighters with some respect and really think about it.
Hey, listen to this. This will make Canelo get into the top 5 if he becomes undisputed light heavyweight. 100%. 100%.
I'd make him, in my opinion, the best ever in Mexico.
He's not doing that though. But
I know. Okay, but I'm saying the only way he breaks into the top 5, if he goes down and beats Burby, Bivol.
why not super middleweight though? He hasn't even won like a proper. Why not try and win title? Like
As a European, you know.
Get him in the top 5, Hamid.
no, I'm saying what I'm trying to.
Beat Verto and Gilbert Burris. That's not going to get him in the top 5, Hamid. Only beating
No, what I'm trying to say.
Huh?
What I'm trying to say. Can I just say this? Basically, he's cleaned down middleweight in the way that he's beaten majority of the top guys. He's got whatever. He had all the majority of the belts. If not, I think he's missing one. At super middleweight, the guys like Benavides, Plant, those guys are big guys. Like, I think Beterbiev and that he's gonna bite off more than he could chew. I think I know he's beaten Kovalev, but let's be real, Kovalev was towards the end of his career at super middleweight. That's still a challenge. Like Callum Smith, those guys like that. I think that's enough.
Hamid, that don't get him in the top 5 at super middleweight. I'm saying that light heavy.
Top 5 what? Top 5 all-time great.
Huh?
What do you see? What is it to get you on the top 5? What, Mexican?
Yeah, Mexican. Top 5 Mexican of all time. I'm saying that get him in the top 5. Some people have to get knocked out. If Canelo becomes undisputed light heavyweight, say that for free. I'll tell you that for now, bro. Say that for now. If he goes in and tears them up, bro, one by one.
But you're huh? What are you trying to say? You have to win all the belts. That's too much, I think, man.
No, not really. One of them's got 2 belts, so you don't have to go that far.
Beterbiev's got 2. All right, Bivol's got 1.
Yeah, that's it. That's where you go fight 2 fighters. What you talking about?
All right, but he'll probably end up having to fight Ramirez. I think unless he defends that WBO belt, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have to make a mandatory defense of that. I'm pretty sure.
He'll beat the shit out of I think, bro. He'll beat the shit out of Ramirez. I think he beat Ramirez.
But I would like to see him as super middleweight because I think that division is kind of dead, and if he comes to that, it might make you a bit excited. Whatever he does, I just think Beterbiev is just way too big, man. And I can't hold that against him. Like Beterbiev, I think.
The links, if you scroll the screen up, the links there, Aztec. The links there, Aztec. Go ahead. Go on, Hamid.
Yeah, I just think that's unfair. Seeing that is to me was saying to Floyd when Mayweather was fight guys like Golovkin, and I remember some people even saying he won't get credit even if he beats someone like Jermaine Taylor when Taylor beat Hopkins. To me, it's just too much. I know Canelo is obviously much bigger. Mayweather was obviously never middleweight, but if Canelo fights Batubiev and the more guys, I think you will be able to see a size difference. I don't think Kovalev was the biggest light heavyweight, even though he was big, but yeah, I think it was a bit of perfect matchmaking. If he stays at light heavyweight, then obviously he'll have to fight those guys. It depends what he does. I don't mind him going to super middleweight. I think middleweight might be a bit dangerous going all the way back down, but there are options at middleweight as well. At light heavyweight, I think the only fight is Batubia at the moment. I don't know about Ramirez if that's a
I think that's a dream match. They're about the same height.
yeah.
Yo,
it's a
EJ,
good
that
fight.
dude Aztec said he needs a link. He's in the chat
I
saying he needs a
heard
link.
but he came in the chat. I see that, but like the link was in the chat. All you do is scroll up and just press the link. All right, maybe I'll put it.
Nah, it's probably too many comments. It probably disappeared.
No, I ain't put this. Like El Finito Lopez, exactly, my man. You know what I'm saying? Like there you go. That's what I'm saying. There's a link. Y'all can jump in.
Yo, but EJ, maybe tomorrow, bro. I'll do a list tonight, or I'll do it early tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we do the top 10 Mexican fighters. Because I'm telling you, Canelo ain't making that list.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Umar, right? Who does he beat now currently to get him into the top 5? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if he beats Burby,
Who could he beat now to get him into the top 5?
yes, I'm saying if he beats Burby and he beats Bivol,
If he beats Burby, if he beats Bivol, if he beats Badu Jack.
No, Badu Jack. What the fuck you talking about, Badu Jack? Why Badu Jack?
Bro, because Badu Jack's a fucking dog.
Yo,
He's a dog.
Hold on. What happened when he fought Adonis Stevenson?
He's a fucking dog. He lost that fight, but he didn't embarrass himself.
He had a head like a pum pum in the middle.
Yeah, but what about? I don't know about Marcus Brown. Is Marcus Brown really that good?
EJ, he didn't get the poom poom cut in that fight. That was the next fight. That was the fight against the other dude.
Who's that?
Marcus Brown.
Marcus Brown. You ain't got that the Marcus Brown fight.
Look what he did against Marcus, busted him up, man. Like he ain't that good at light heavyweight. Get out of here already.
Now that was a headbutt, but even then, like Marcus Brown lost to Pascal. Like I'm not sure if
but that's what I'm trying to say.
Brown...
What's this, right? Like, okay, we got Pascal, right? Pascal versus Canelo. If Canelo's next fight should go against Pascal.
Oh, EJ, I would not be surprised if Canelo fights Pascal next. I would not be surprised.
That's a good fight, right?
No, Pascal's fight.
No, that's not a good fight. Pascal's past his prime, man. Way past it.
But he just beat
Pascal and Jack are fighting. No, Pascal and Jack are fighting in December. That's official. I think Jack will probably beat him.
Jack and who?
So Jack and Pascal, December.
I got Badu Jack winning that fight, man. And I like Pascal. Don't get me wrong. I like Pascal, but bro, Pascal ain't been that good since he fucking beat Froch. And I know he didn't get the decision, but he beat Froch.
What about Dawson? He beat Dawson. I thought that was a good win.
Yeah, that was a good. Yeah, it was. He had a lot of good wins back in them days, but he's been passing for a while, man. Kovalev took a lot out of him. Kovalev fucked him up.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Ashley's going in the top 10. He got maybe Andres Mendes as well. So look, basically they got a wicked. They got wicked.
Who are your top 5 though?
No. He ain't no top. Canelo's not no top 5.
No, who are your top 5? Was Sanchez,
so
Chavez, Senior?
There's 3 of them, right? You got Sanchez, right? You got Salvador Sanchez. You got Julio Cesar Chavez. You got El Finito, Ricardo Lopez. You got Juan Manuel Marquez, and then you could put in that one maybe. You could put maybe
Barrero Morales in.
Barrero Morales in that one, in that joint right there. You see what I'm saying? You didn't get it.
Who would you put ahead?
Well, I probably like
out the 2. I'd probably put Barrero.
Morales beat like Pacquiao, right? That was a great win. But Barrero busted up Nassim Hamid. You know what I'm saying?
I'd probably put Barrera.
Yeah,
because Morales did lose to Pacquiao.
They're right next to each other, though. They're right next to each other. And then you look, like, bro, you look, man. I was gonna say put Castillo in there, but I don't think I will. But like, there's some look to get into the top.
I wouldn't put Castillo.
Nah, no, I wouldn't think so. But like to get into the top 5, there's guys, bro. Like Mexicans got a rich history of badasses, bro. And like,
what about Andy Ruiz?
Huh?
If he beats Wilder, say.
Well, that's what I'm
what about Andy Ruiz?
I don't know. I think they're around this. I think they're in the list. They're at the end of the top 10. I think Ruiz might have busted in there.
No, Andy Ruiz. What if Andy Ruiz beats Andy Ruiz? What if he beats, say, Joshua in the rematch and then goes on to beat? I know it probably won't happen, but beats Wilder and say Fury.
be crying down. If he beats Usyk and some other dudes, he'd be moving down. I got him like 8, 9. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Who Andy Ruiz is?
8, 9. Yeah, he's at the end of the top 10 in my top.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about what was it? Marquez's brother? Would you put him in there?
Marquez's brother? Oh, you're talking about Rafael Marquez.
Right.
Rafael, nah, I don't. He's good though, and you can put Israel Vasquez as well.
Was it Vasquez? They're both Mexicans, isn't it? I can't remember if Vasquez was Mexican. Those guys had some great fights, man. What was it, like four wars in? I probably wouldn't put Canelo top 5 at the moment. Maybe if he goes on to beat guys like Batubiev and whatever. If he goes up to cruiserweight and he beats the number 1 cruiserweight guy, I think you got to put him then. But I don't know I think that'll be way too much. I don't know who's at cruiserweight at the moment. What is it? Dotikos and Bradis. I doubt he'll probably move up for that. But if he does keep doing what he does at super middleweight, light heavyweight, I'll probably put him on there. So would you put him on there if he fights Triple G in the 3rd fight and he knocks Triple G clean out like knocked out Kovalev?
Nah, because who did Triple G beat?
No, but I'm just saying, no one's ever really knocked down Triple G. I know Derevchenko came close.
He's a hype job, innit? Triple G's a hype job, innit?
No, but knocking the guy out, like, if he keeps, I don't know, knocking guys out that, like, people are not picking him to win by KO. I don't know, I would probably move him a bit closer, but I would like to see him maybe beat someone. Bivol, I think, would be a good win. But I think a lot of people want to see him fight Batubiev. I just think I don't think he's going to win that fight, man. I think that's too much.
I think Canelo could beat Batubiev.
I don't think so, man. Mm-hmm. Not right now. I'm not even sure if
he old, bruh. Canelo's only 29. Them guys are 30, bruh.
Yeah, but that's age he's Batubiev isn't a shop one. Kovalev, he'd have a chance, but I'd probably put Batubiev. I'm not even sure if he beat.
Let me show you this, right? I'll tell you how, right?
He's 34. I know that.
Callum Johnson knocked down Bertie, right? So you don't think Canelo hits harder than Callum Johnson?
Gvozdyk they're saying that about Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk couldn't put him down. Triangle series don't work like that though, man. Just because one person, what's his name? Harold Sconier's dropped Wilder, but a lot of guys that Wilder's fought have been better than Sconier. They couldn't do that, so.
Yeah,
I mean, how does that logic?
You're going to change your mind anyway, so it don't matter. What I'm saying is that
those are facts. You can't change those. What I just said is.
I'm telling you facts. I'm saying that Callum Johnson knocked down Bertie, but I'm saying I think Canelo can do it as well. That's what I'm saying to you.
Canelo, I think, could outpoint him. I don't know. He could probably maybe knock him out if he catches him with a good shot. But I'm just saying, going by that.
Dan the man just jumped in, man. Yeah, Dan the man. What's up, Dan the man?
I'm just saying, that don't make sense.
Yo, what's happening? You guys can hear me?
Yeah. Is that you go to that?
Gotta put my mic on mute. All right, sorry about that. Hold on. How about now? Am I good?
Yeah.
All right. All right, good. What's up?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I could hear you, man.
I can't hear no echo.
Got a echo? Okay, it's fine.
You got an echo.
Okay, I got an echo.
You might have speaker.
Yeah, it's probably my speaker. Yeah, it's probably my audio because I'm on my headset, so that's probably why you hear the echo. Hold on. Let me try to fix it. Give me a second.
All right, no worries, bro. Yeah,
Well, how about now?
Officer Danny.
Shut up, nigga. Shut up, Ben Umar, nigga. You keep calling me.
What's up, Dan? Man, I ain't spoke to you in a while. How you doing?
I know, man. What's happening, big dog? No, I'm good, man. I'm just trying to be more active on this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's asking me where I've been and, how come I make no videos anymore, man. Just been out and about, attending my life. So it's all good, man. Still catching up on the fights as much as I can. So yeah, man. You guys talking about
the front, man. You know your wife got you on lockdown.
Well, that's part of it. Do I think the fight's a fixed fight? Let me just say this. Hell no, it was not fixed. Because you got to tell me, if the fight was fixed, then Kovalev did a damn good job at acting. Because there's no way in hell a guy who's gonna who's gonna sit there and take a dive and take a flush shot like that, if this fight was fixed. Because I'll give you an example. If a fight was fixed, then maybe somebody could go ask Bruce Seldon how to fix a fight. Because when he fought Mike Tyson, when he laid down the way he did, that was a fixed fight. Somebody should ask Malik Scott how to fix a fight, because when he took that so-called left hook on the temple of Deontay Wilder, that was a fixed fight. So I don't know, man. Kovalev, if he was willing to take a flush shot like that on the chin like that to go down the way he did, I mean, hey, congratulations, man. Because to me, I don't know. The bottom line is that there's no way you could fix a fight like that, especially a man who's throwing hard jabs like that throughout the course of the whole fight before he got stopped. And Kovalev was throwing some hard jabs at Canelo. He was. And just the only thing, Canelo was blocking those jabs. He was parrying them, and he was slipping them. So that's the only thing. And plus, he was throwing his right the best way he can. Because the reason why he wasn't throwing so much of that right hand, because every time he threw it, Canelo was countering him with that left hook, which he was afraid of. Or when he threw the right, he was countering him with the right hook to the body. So I just don't see how anybody could say this was a fixed fight. I just don't. I'm just keeping it real. I just don't understand why people say that. The reason why people are saying that is mainly coming from the Triple G fanboys who pissed off the fact that they can't let go of the fact that Canelo beat their guy. They're the ones who are saying
That's
it.
true.
That's true. You know. Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was the guy who picked. I could be a lot of record. I was gonna say the guys that pick Kovalev. So the guys pick Kovalev who don't want to give Canelo credit, but I don't know, man. I don't know how you could say that was fixed. Like he took a flush right hand when he was defenseless. Like it reminded me of when Povetkin and David Price fought, and it wasn't as brutal because that but Kovalev was put to sleep. I don't know how anyone could say that. Like, I think people are just saying that because they don't like Canelo and they don't want to give him credit. I think they'll find any way to discredit him. But like, I've seen far worse fights where I've been questionable. I thought Mayweather Ortiz might have been fixed. I don't think it was, but I had question marks over that fight at the time.
Right. Well, let me just say this. I think the reason people have this perception is because of that left hook that Canelo threw. That stumbled Kovalev, and then he finished him off with that straight right to the chin. But here's the thing. The reason why he got off balance off that left hook, because one, it was that initial right that Canelo threw when he threw that two-punch combination to the body, then finished up on top of the head, upstairs with a short right. That's the one that put Kovalev in trouble. If you look at the replay, before he threw that left hook, it was that right he threw in the inside of the clinches that Kovalev got stunned by that. He was off balance momentarily, and then when he tried to block the left hook, it caught his jaw, and then that's when he was gone from that point. So they thought that, wait a minute, when Canelo threw that left, they was like, wait a minute, he blocked that left. He stumbled. If you look at that replay, he didn't quite block that shot. It actually caught him on the jaw, and that's what was the pretty much the end of the road for him at that point. So yeah, like I said, man, people can discredit Canelo all they want to, but let's put it this way: even though he was a favorite to win the fight, but many others thought he was going to lose that fight. People thought he was crazy to take a fight like this. Sergey Kovalev, who regained his form after he beat Elias Alvarez, the other Alvarez, that is. Yes, he had a tough fight against Anthony Yard, but let me point that out. People are using that as an excuse as well. First of all, it was Kovalev's choice to take that fight before the Canelo fight. Canelo didn't tell him that he had to take that fight. Kovalev took that fight. Why? Because he wanted to be more active, number one. Number two, he saw Anthony Yard as a very green fighter that he could get through with no problem. That's what happened. Yes, Yard was green at the time, but he didn't expect him to be too tough for him to give him the punch. He didn't expect Yard to give him the punishment in that particular fight. So that was his fault. That was his fault for him to take that fight in the 3-month gap. It was his fault that he decided on that 10-pound rehydration clause, which, by the way, Kovalev normally comes in around 185, 187. I don't know why people making a big fuss about that.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, I don't know why people making a big fuss about that. Yes, the rehydration clause itself sounds pretty bad, but if you look at Kovalev going into that fight last night, he always looked the same on fight night. He weighed the same. So and another thing too, Kovalev making excuses again. This is what pisses me off about him. He always does this shit when things don't go his way, just to rip credit away from his opponent. He always does this crap. He says, "Well, I didn't have enough recovery time after my last fight. I mean, he always does this shit. He's been doing that shit ever since the Chilemba fight. He said I was sick. That's the reason why I wasn't able to perform the way I did against Isaac Chilemba or Andre Ward.
I was crying against Andre Ward.
I know, crying against Andre Ward. He always does this shit when things don't go his way. Remember when he took that ass whooping by Ward in the second fight, his ass wanted to go up to cruiserweight. That's what he planned to do. But when Ward retired, he stayed his ass at light heavyweight. So,
he's done it too many times. He did it in the first Pascal fight as well. Like, I just think I don't know. I didn't know he made excuses after the Canelo fight. I thought after the fight he was being complimentary to Canelo. I didn't hear anything. If he did, then that's not a good look.
It isn't. I mean, he did actually. If you look at the post-fight replay, he was both congratulatory towards Canelo. He did say Canelo's a great fighter, but he did say that I didn't have enough recovery time after my last fight. This, that, and the third. He was making excuses again, man. He always does this shit. I'm like, well, motherfucker. Go ahead.
That might be true in a way that, like, I don't think he recovered from the Yard fight. Like that was. I think Yard hurt. He might have had some. Like, I'm not using excuse. Canelo knocked him out, but that was way too quick. Like, he's 36. I think it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I mean, it was his choice to make. I mean, like, again, it was Anthony. It was his choice because, first of all, Canelo didn't tell him that he got to fight Anthony Yard. He didn't tell him he had to do that shit. Kovalev made that choice because he thought Yard was green. He said, "You know what? Let me get this guy out the way. He's green. I shouldn't have no problem with him." That's what he thought, and he was wrong. And that was his fault for him to accept the fight on the day after the fact he beat Anthony Yard. So he has himself to blame for that situation. I don't want to hear that excuse on I didn't have enough time to cover.
Yo, let me shout out somebody in the chat real quick because I agree with his point wholeheartedly. Somebody named Soldier Viejo. He said, "I'm sorry, but anybody that has Buddy McGirt in their corner in a big fight is destined for a loss." And that's 100% fact. Because every time you see Buddy McGirt in anybody's fucking corner lately, and they got a big fight, they take an L. Because I remember it started back with Paulie when he stopped Paulie, and Paulie wasn't even hurt, and he stopped the fight on him when he's fighting Ricky Hatton. That motherfucker's a horrible trainer, in my opinion.
Well, not just that. I mean, look, Buddy McGirt, I met him a couple of times, man. All respect for him. I got nothing but respect for the guy, man. But Buddy McGirt, man, look, he's a good trainer. But when it comes to big fights, yes, he always falls through. I agree with that point right there, man. But
that was a good point because I didn't even think to make that point.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's put it this way. Buddy McGirt, we got to give him credit where credit is due. He is responsible for regaining Kovalev's form. We got to give him credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Because people thought that Kovalev was done at that point when he hired McGirt to be his trainer. People's like, oh, shit, here we go. You got McGirt. You're destined to fail now. But let's give credit when credit is due. He helped him in the Alvarez, well, not the Canelo Alvarez fight, but the Elidia Alvarez fight, the rematch. McGirt helped him in that rematch to regain his title. He helped him against Anthony Yard. But, of course, this time he came up short against Canelo. So, but, yeah, man, I mean, at this point.
Going back to that Anthony Yard fight real quick. I was always screaming, right? And EJ will tell you this, and you probably were around, Dan, to hear me say this. I was always saying that they need to take Anthony Yard the same route they took Wilder. He needs 30, 40 fights. Progress him slowly, because he can wait out Kovalev, and he'll stop that motherfucker. And look, a couple fights later, look what happens. Or one fight later, look what happens. If he would have waited another year, he'd have won that fight.
They don't let that in the UK, man. Like, the days of Calzaghe and Ricky Hatton doing that for 30, 40 fights, like, those days over. Look at AJ. A lot of pressure was put on AJ, hardcore fans.
Yeah, but Hamed, AJ is like the biggest fighter in the UK. I'm not going to say nobody in the UK knows Anthony Yard, but I can guarantee you, and I'm not even over there, he's not a household name. I already told you what I think of this. 2 days of money-hungry piece of shit. And he forced that fight in there because he wanted that check. That's my opinion. They should have moved him slowly.
No, I get that. But for about 2 years, 2-3 years, he's been getting hyped. He's been fighting guys who are unranked. Like, he should have at least went up the ladder for guys like I don't know, Callum Johnson, maybe
Or Callum
Buglioni.
Johnson, Ricky Summers, or Joshua Boazzi,
Yeah.
those guys. I think Yard would have beaten those guys. I think thought he would have beaten them, but
Exactly. Fight those level guys.
or Frank Billioni. I know they've been trying to get the Frank Billioni fight for a long time now, but they ducked that fight. So I mean, Biglioni,
Jose Burton.
Jose Burton. Well, they
Let me
want
ask you a
that fight.
question, Hamed and EJ. Did he ever even fight for the European title?
No.
That's a good question.
Did he challenge for the Lonsdale belt to hold those titles for a certain amount of fights? No, he could have done all of that and been seen very highly in England the way all those other fighters did it. They fight for the Lonsdale belt. They try to hold that belt to get the Lonsdale belt. They fight for the European title. He could have went that route. Why are you jumping in your 15-16 fight when you only had 13 amateur fights to fight fucking Kovalev? You could have waited him out, man. That's Tunde's fault, man.
Yeah, that's true. Tunde did a very bad job. Frank Warren as well of promoting him, but they hyped him up so bad. Like this guy, you gotta realize, he was on every like advert. He's getting sponsored by Adidas, all these other sponsors. Like he was on Sky Sports as well. Like, and he's not even fighting on Sky Sports. On they ads in between fights. Like the guy, he got to a point where he was transcending into some casual fans as well. I think he got to a point where like it's too much pressure put on him. I personally think they should have at least promoted him and managed him much better. Like at least put him through the British route. They just went from journeyman and jumped straight to Kovalev.
Exactly. How are you going to go from journeyman to Kovalev? You're not even fighting for British titles. Fight for a British title. Fight for a European title, and then go that route. Give him some experience.
Yeah, that was a bad move. I'm not sure if he could recover from that. Like.
You guys are saying Yard could be Canelo, because people were saying that before.
Nah, I don't think that. I don't know about you guys. I think Canelo is just a better fighter. Like Kovalev was always suspect, and if he couldn't take Kovalev out, I know he's heavy-handed, but he's just at the moment. I know Canelo obviously is not a natural light heavyweight, but we've seen the difference. Like in the two fights, and there's only a couple of months away. Unless people are what they're saying is true and is fixed, but I just don't see that. Like Kovalev was doing a similar job against Yard, although I think he was a bit more committed. I think for for effort against Yard, I think he put in 100%, and I think Yard almost took him out. I thought that was his last big performance. He was doing enough, but I think Canelo I thought was just looking for the KO, and it wasn't a great performance by
You guys remember, right? You remember when Kovalev, right? He fought that one fight against Andre Ward. I don't know if it was the first or the second fight, but he basically didn't have a purse. Everything he was getting was on the back end, and that fight bombed at the pay-per-view. So he probably didn't make much off that. This motherfucker's been chasing a check ever since then. So this Canelo fight, all he really cared about was that payday, bro. Yeah. He needed that fucking payday. True, yeah. That's all it was about.
Yeah, he got shortchanged for that rematch. He made like $2 million, and Ward made $7 million.
He's never gotten a big fat check. Like $2 million probably was his highest payday, which is not. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. But that's not. It's not life-changing money. After you pay your cornerman, you pay your lawyers, pay your manager, you pay all this other bullshit, your taxes, U.S. taxes. You're walking away with $500K.
Yeah, that's why they had to take the Yard fight in a way. I know Yard was offered money step aside, but Yard declined it. So I think the Kovalev Canelo fight was only going to happen for that title, because Canelo and his team thought that was like a bargaining chip. But he had to take the Yard fight, and I think for him winning that fight was more important. At this stage of his career, I think he just wanted the payday. I think he should seriously think about retiring. It's only going to get worse if he goes and fights guys like Batubiev, Gvozdyk, even Bivol. I think his punch resistance is just going to get worse. It's already, I think, bad. I thought Canelo was the puncher in there, but I was saying the Yard fight was his last great performance, because I think it was in Russia. He was obviously he had to pull through there, and he did, and he earned him a big career payday. This fight, I think, he didn't really have much to lose in the sense, obviously he's towards the end of his career, and it was all about the money. It reminded me of what I think it was EJ might have made the comment earlier when Sergio Martinez fought Cotto. I thought that was more to do with the payday, but I don't think in that fight Martinez had like what was it, damning knees. I don't think Kovalev was crippled or anything like that, or handicapped. It's just I think he was just walked onto a very good shot, and he just fought the better younger fighter. But I thought he was doing okay. He was winning the fight. It was a close fight. It's just Canelo, I always thought he was the favorite, and he proved a point. I just don't think it was that good of a performance. Canelo, I thought, was rushing his shots and loading up. I don't think Canelo boxed as well as he should have, but he got the job done in the end.
Yeah, he did indeed. Let me see. Dan the man jumped off. My bad, Dan the man. Yeah, you're back in. There you go, Dan. You're back.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Cool.
Yeah. Go ahead. Give us your take. Hey, who does Canelo fight next?
What's up?
Who does Canelo fight next?
Who does he fight next? Well, you know what? That's the story yet to be told at this point. I would say right now, I don't see him going back to down to middleweight. I just can't see it, man. I really doubt that's going to happen. So we can forget about that. Now, as far as super middleweight, that's plausible. I could see him trying to match up with Billy Joe Saunders. And then I'll be honest with you guys. I know some people might call me crazy for saying this. I think at this point of Canelo's career, I just don't see Billy Joe Saunders winning that fight right now. I really don't. And the reason why I say that is because how many times we said that, Canelo, I don't think Canelo's going to win this fight. We said that about Gennady Golovkin. Some people said that about Danny Jacobs. Certainly some people said that about Sergey Kovalev. Even Kovalev at this stage of his career, as vulnerable as he is. So it seems like to me, every fight that Canelo takes, he adapts to a different style. He gets better and better. He becomes more dangerous as a fighter. Not saying he's becoming a hard puncher, but he becomes more of a dangerous fight to take at this point. And the reason why these guys take these fights because he's a cash cow. He's the big bag that they're going to risk. So with that said, I just think that, any style that you put him up against at this point, he'll find a way to adapt. He will. He'll find a way to adjust and adapt. And I don't think Billy Joe Saunders.
I still want to. Would
Go
you
ahead,
still
Ahmed.
want to see the Triple G fight? I don't think he's got credit. Like if he knocks Golovkin out in the third fight, maybe that might give him credit. I don't know. Even then, people are going to say he's old.
Well, so here's the thing. Now that he has that light heavyweight, he's going to force Triple G to come up. He's like, you're going to have to come up to light heavyweight if you want to fight me now. And we all know Golovkin is slow as shit, even at middleweight. So if he puts on more weight at 175, he's going to be far more slower. Yeah, or even 168. Golovkin is going to be far more slower. I don't think his power is going to carry up to that weight very well. And, of course, he's going to take a lot heavier blows. I just don't. I think Golovkin at this point of his career, I think his punch resistance is going to deplete eventually. It will.
Yeah, I think Golovkin will get knocked out as well. But Golovkin's going to look for that one big payday. He's either going to fight Morata or Canelo. I think if he takes the Canelo fight, I think it could happen at 168.
It could happen at 168, but since Canelo does have a belt at 175, it could be a catchweight at 170. At light heavyweight, it's possible. But still be like a lot of weight that Golovkin's going to be carrying at this point. Because one, he doesn't, he's not a naturally big dude. I mean, Canelo, you could say Golovkin is a naturally bigger guy than Canelo in some degree. But when it comes to the conditioning that these guys carry, the weight that they put on, Canelo is a better conditioned guy than Golovkin. That's very obvious. And Golovkin, when he puts on weight, he doesn't look very good conditionally. From a condition standpoint.
He looks like pudgy when he's put.
Oh, very pudgy. He's a fat dude. Outside, he puts on weight. So that's the thing, though. I mean, to me, what the bottom line is, do we want to see a third fight? Honestly, I don't mind, but at the same time, we've seen it already. We've seen it twice. And Canelo pretty much closed the chapter on that. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. They're both great fights. I will concede to that. But at this point, I don't know. Go ahead.
Would you have given him more credit for knocking Golovkin or Kovalev? Now that Demchenko has shown
you know what? I'll be honest with you. I probably give him more credit for knocking out Kovalev, and the reason why I say that because Kovalev, is a more proven fighter in many. Well, I say not. Let me take that back. Not as more proven fighter. Maybe you could say that Kovalev is a more proven fighter than Golovkin in this stage of his career. And the reason why I say that is because Kovalev has put on way better wins and have been in very more tougher fights than Gennady Golovkin. And Golovkin himself, yes, he's been in tough fights, but his fights he's been in has been very questionable. Danny Jacobs, Kell Brook, yes, he got the stoppage, but he struggled against a goddamn welterweight while that fight lasted, all right? And he's, obviously his questionable decision against Derevchenko. He struggled badly, he struggled against Canelo Alvarez, even though he had some success in a couple of those fights. But my point is that Kovalev has had better conclusive wins on his resume than Triple G. And he has he's built a Hall of Fame. Way more, yeah. And Kovalev has built a Hall of Fame career at light heavyweight. That's a fact. So again, my point, my view, I think that Canelo knocking out Kovalev is more significant if he would knock out Triple G. But hey, to be fair, if Canelo knocks out Triple G, he'd be the first guy to do it.
Yeah,
so that's another milestone.
Baynex Boxer just made a point. I don't know if this is true. He said that he thinks Kovalev threw this fight, or he's saying Kovalev threw this fight because DAZN gave him a 3-fight deal because he lost. I don't know how true that is, but I just wanted to relay that to y'all. Maybe y'all got information.
Oh man, look, let me just say this again. No disrespect to main boxer, man. I shout out to main boxer, by the way. If he threw the fight, he would not be taking flush shots like that if he was going to throw the fight. Okay, no, I've never seen a fighter throw a fight to take flush shots. All right, believe me, as I mentioned, these two fighters, Bruce Seldon, Malik Scott, ask those guys because they threw their fights against, Wilder and Mike Tyson respectively. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no fighter who throws a fight. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Dan, one second. Can you move your mic? Because you've got feedback. I was just going to say, what was the deal? The deal was if Kovalev won, he gets, was it 2 fights with DAZN? And if he lost, he goes back to ESPN. Was it like that? Or was it, if he lost, he goes to DAZN? And if he wins, he goes back to ESPN? Because that don't make sense. I think it's a contradiction. Because if he's already guaranteed 15 million, and they're saying if he lost, then he goes to DAZN.
Yeah, that sounds like he threw the fight. Yeah, it sounds like he threw the fight if he's going to DAZN with an L. And he's gonna make more money. That shit sounds crazy.
But if it's guaranteed,
get on here because anything's possible. I'm not saying this is possible because the DAZN, they have done some weird shit as of late. Like for example, postponed the main event for 2 hours because of UFC 244 last night. That was bizarre.
Yo, that was ridiculous. They were showing the fucking Rocky Fielding fight. Fight didn't start. They didn't start doing ring walks to 1:10 a.m. East Coast time.
Yeah, that was a terrible move by DAZN, and I'm gonna just keep it real. I don't see how you gain new subscribers by pulling that move. I really don't see that. You know what I mean? Because how can you do that and expect the UFC fans to cross over after the main event is over? That's not gonna happen. Especially the controversy that fit in that fight with Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. Let's be real.
By the time that fight started, Dan, the whole UK was asleep. That fight started like 1:30. Everybody in the UK had to be asleep. It's like 6:30 over there. I know EJ wasn't around.
That's true.
I was awake. No, the fight started at 5. It should have started at 4 because the clocks went back 1 hour last.
1 hour back, yeah.
So basically started at 6 o'clock, which is very late. I was gonna say though, I did hear 2 different sides. One side I've heard that DAZN did get some extra buys because a lot of the fans after that fight switched over, but they must have lost a lot of subscribers. Like I've read a lot of people say we aren't subscribing for next month after the Ruiz Joshua fight. So in a way, they made a gain in the near future. At the moment they might have got more subscribers, but down the line they've lost subscribers. People who have lost interest after the way they did that. I thought that was very bad. Like, I don't know how anyone could defend it. It's just the way they marketed it. Like, you should not be doing that. Like, if you got a guy who's the biggest brand in boxing and you're making him wait for 1 or 2 hours, I can't imagine someone like Mayweather doing that, sitting down and waiting for a UFC fight to end.
Exactly. And especially Canelo is arguably the biggest cash cow in boxing. He is arguably the biggest star in boxing, and you making him wait, take a backseat behind Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. I mean, goddamn. I mean, see, this is what's going to happen now. The U.S. MMA fans is going to eat this up. They know what they're going to say. They're probably saying this right now. They say, you see, this is the reason why our sport is a lot greater than boxing. Boxing has to take a backseat to us. What does that tell you? You know what I mean? They wouldn't even put on the main event while our main event was going. So what does that tell you? MMA is greater than boxing. That's what they're running on, that little narrative right now. And I think that's embarrassing what happened last night. It was a shameful tactic by the zone. And to your point, Hamed, they may have gained some subscribers, and net subscribers after this fight. I believe that. But the question is, can they retain those subscribers? That's been my argument the whole time. And the answer is no. They're struggling to do that. They can't keep them. You know what I'm saying? So to me, especially if they're paying out these high dollar figures, particularly to guys like Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin, to recoup that money, they're going to have to get a pay-per-view platform. That's coming. Watch. That's happening.
Oh, they will lose subscribers because people have been complaining. Like, people are saying, we waited, like, we ordered the app for this fight and we waited for 1 or 2 hours for that. Down the line, they lose subscribers. Maybe next month, the month after. I think they made like a lot of new subscribers in time. That was maybe more from casual fans or UFC fans who wanted to cross over and watch the fight as well. I was gonna say that was not a good move. Like, I can't see how you could do stuff like that. Also, playing the fight inside the MGM arena, like, I get it. Some people wanted to watch both, but if you really wanted to watch the UFC that bad, you wouldn't go to a Canelo Kovalev fight and then you're watching the UFC on a monitor inside.
And Hamed, this is something I've noticed. UFC and boxing fans, we don't cross over that much. That's overhyped. How they say like boxing fans love UFC. No, it's not. It's not the case. It's not the case. Not all boxing fans like UFC and vice versa. So that's a joke. Like, if you're focused on watching that Nate Diaz Masvidal fight, you're not thinking about that Canelo fight, bro. You're not thinking about that because that's afterthought. That's like, all right, if this fight ends early, maybe I'll catch a stream. You're not gonna buy a pay-per-view to get halfway through a fight. Nobody's thinking like that. Like it's a joke. Yeah, that's true. And the dude, main ex-boxer, made another good point. I want to give him credit for. He that I said last night when I was talking to Mr. Doc and Nauta. Kovalev, when he was in the dressing room, I'm sure you guys seen it if you were watching the fight. This motherfucker was laying on the couch like he just smoked a fat blunt. Like he didn't even look like he wanted to fight. I didn't know what was going on with him. These two, like, the whole situation smells.
Yeah, someone posted that picture.
Yeah, that was a red flag. I ain't gonna lie, that was a red flag to me, in my view. I'm not saying, again, people are gonna say that. Well, that case, that means you guys believe he threw the fight. I was like, no, I don't think that was the case. I think he was far too relaxed. He thought that Canelo was a smaller guy. He knew he was probably going to struggle with him to a certain degree, but he thought that Canelo was going to respect him, and Canelo didn't give him that respect in that fight that night. You know what I'm saying? So. And obviously, I just think he tried his best. Let's get, again, guys, he tried his best, man. Look at all the jabs he was throwing at Canelo. He was throwing those jabs like he threw normally in his fights. Threw him hard concussive jabs.
Yeah, I thought I had him up. But my problem with that, Dan, is this. Maybe Kovalev is washed up at this point, Dan. Maybe he is. I don't know. But I've seen Kovalev, and I can't stand Kovalev. You know how I feel about Kovalev. I've seen him pound strong fighters out, pound them out, knock them the fuck out, beat the shit out of them. And it was like, this little motherfucker is backing you up? Really? When Pascal couldn't even back you up? So you gotta make Canelo stronger than Pascal. I have to wrap that in my brain.
Well, you know what? To be fair, though, Pascal was backing Kovalev up, particularly in their first fight. It was just that Pascal, he's not as skillful as Canelo. He's not very consistent. He's a very unpredictable guy. He just can't keep his consistency when it comes to his work rate. That's the thing about Pascal. It's like when he does great in one round, he abandons it the next round. That's what I don't get about Pascal. That's his problem. That's the difference between Canelo and Pascal. When Canelo got you hurt, he got you on the run, he's going to continue his pressure. He's going to continue his poise. That Pascal just doesn't do that, and that's what frustrates me about him a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Canelo's more talented. He's a more talented fighter, but Kovalev has fought way bigger fighters, and like it almost seemed like even though I had him winning the rounds because I thought he was outboxing Canelo, making Canelo miss a lot, except for when the Canelo was going to the body. It was like he didn't want to get hit. Like he was fighting like Miguel Vasquez.
Well,
Almost.
that's the whole point. That's the whole point. The thing is that he never fought anybody that was very concussive counterpuncher like Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, Andre Ward probably is close to that as a great counterpuncher, but other than that, Canelo was throwing some very, very hard counter shots, especially on the front foot. That's something Kovalev's not used to. Every time like I mentioned, every time he tried to throw that right that everybody was begging him to do, when he threw it, he kept getting countered. And he didn't want to get away from that. That's why he kept backing it up. He's like, dude, I can't give this guy a chance to throw those counter shots. I'm sorry? What'd you say?
Kovalev fought a scared fight, I thought.
Yeah, he fought a very cautious
He fought
fight.
a scared fight. And Shane Mosley, this is what's popping up my head the whole fight. Shane Mosley said on Skip and Shannon, Undisputed. I don't know if you watched that show, Dan. I doubt Hamed watched it because it's not a UK show.
No, I know the show. I heard he said something about the fight, but I didn't see what he said.
No, not this specific fight. He said something a long time ago when because Skip Bayless was trying to say that Floyd couldn't punch. He's like, Floyd's a powder punch. He throws pillows, right? And Shane said, no, Floyd hits just as hard as Canelo does. And I'm thinking, and that's something in my head. I'm like, all right. How is Canelo, if he only hits as hard as Floyd, how the fuck is he backing Kovalev up to the point where Kovalev's fighting a scared fight? Like it just the whole situation didn't smell right to me. I don't know, but I don't know, man, what was going on. Maybe all the Royce Canelo take.
Well, like I said, though, it could be the fact that Kovalev thought that this guy was going to be able to take my jabs or my power shots, and Canelo's got a granite chin. We saw what Gennady Golovkin, Ali hit him. In that second fight, Golovkin hit him with a very, very ferocious right in that, 10th round, I believe? And Canelo took that shot and came back at Gennady Golovkin. I think that's why Golovkin got psyched out after the end of the fight. He could not believe it. You saw Golovkin's face when Canelo took that shot? Hamed?
I did. So we underestimate how tough Canelo, like, Golovkin has probably got one of the best chins, and I'm not even gonna lie, he was running away from Canelo in that rematch at times. In the third, fourth, till about 8 or 9 rounds.
He was backing up just as much as Kovalev.
Well, here's the thing. This is where I brought this up. This is where I could equate that fight compared to the fight we saw last night, because people were saying, why isn't Gennady Golovkin throwing any body shots to Canelo? Because Gennady Golovkin is a very ferocious body puncher. Why is he throwing the body shots? Why is he throwing it? There's a reason why he wasn't throwing it, because he was afraid of getting the counter up there. That's why every time he threw a body shot, Canelo came back with a counter left hook or a counter right hook.
So then Shane must be fucking lying. How hard this dude hits. He had to be, bro, because it don't make no sense.
Yeah, Shane's probably just, he probably don't like Skip Bayless. That's probably why he said what he said. But, at the same time, Shane has been in the ring with both of them. So, we can't discredit that part. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he isn't. But the fact is that when Canelo gets you to worry and rethinking your strategy, this is the reason why he's very good at taking you away from your A game. He's very good at that. He did that to Gennady Golovkin. He did that to Sergey Kovalev and Danny Jacobs. I forgot to mention them. Why people wonder why Jacobs ain't posing his will? Well, because Jacobs was missing the whole fucking night against Canelo. He couldn't even hit his, land clearly on him. He couldn't do it. But go ahead.
That's true. But Floyd can punch. I'm not lying. Floyd can punch. Like, look about the Pacquiao fight. Like, I don't think people give Floyd credit, but people kept saying, why didn't Pacquiao commit? Pacquiao didn't want to commit too much because he was scared at times to get hit by Floyd. I know the thing with Floyd, what he does is he doesn't. How do I put it? In some of those fights, he just back off and he just coasts to a points win. Where if you watch the Shane Mosley fight from round 2 to round 12, I thought even though he got really hurt in that fight, he showed that you can't really walk through the guy. He was hitting Mosley with some hard shots. I know Mosley was a bit old and past his best. He was like 38 or 9, but I don't think people give Mayweather the credit now. Seeing him and Canelo, I think that may be a bit, a bit exaggerated. I do think Canelo probably hits much harder because he can put people to sleep. But the thing with Mayweather is the way he fights with the way he punches, he doesn't really commit. A lot of the punches he's throwing, he either backs up or he's throwing it at a different angle. Where Canelo, his style is normally stalking guys. He's either mixing it up, boxing and punching, and Canelo moves a lot of his upper body and he wings in a lot of hooks. With Mayweather, doesn't really throw that many hooks, so it's
Mayweather
hard
punches
to.
more on his toes. Canelo's feet are usually planted when he's throwing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, as well. That's another thing. Mayweather's normally throwing the lead right hand though. He doesn't throw those body shots, and the way Canelo to me is more like a bull. The way he's. I did think though that Golovkin in that second fight was at times looking breathing heavy. I think Golovkin was a bit suspect to the body as well. I think Canelo's body attack is very underrated in this fight as well.
No, it's tremendous. It's
Kovalev.
tremendous. That's the main reason I gave him those 3 rounds is because of his fucking counters to the body, off the jab.
That's another thing I was pointing out too. A lot of people wondering why Gennady Golovkin wasn't throwing his left hook to the upstairs. Another situation, the counter body shots by Canelo. Golovkin just did not know what to do in that fight. He was backing up. And Abel Sanchez was getting upset with him. It's like, what the fuck are you doing out there? Why you let this guy back you up? Why you letting him do it? So it's like it's just that he didn't want him to do it. He just couldn't figure it out. He couldn't get his respect. That was a problem. Golovkin is not used to fighting guys who doesn't get respect from him. He's not used to that. And Roy Jones pointed that out in the third round of that fight, I believe, when he was breathing hard. He was on his back foot, and he's just not used to fighting a fight like that. So, yeah, again, credit to Canelo, man. He knows how to take guys off their end game, and he's very good at getting guys to figure out what to do next. They're not good at adjusting when he gets them off their when he gets to their end game. So, I just think that, yeah, man. Again, good victory for Canelo, man. Me personally, who do I like to see him go back to this real quickly? Who do I like to see him fight next? I actually want him to stay at light heavyweight. I want to see him fight Bivol. I think he'll beat Bivol. Bertuviev, nah, I think not right now. I don't think he's ready for that fight at light heavyweight.
It's gonna be boring. I really don't.
Yeah, Bivol's gonna be he's gonna be on the back foot too. Let's be real.
That Kovalev fight was boring as well. I thought about until the 6th or 7th round when Canelo started opening up.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It wasn't much happening early in the fight, but but the Bertuviev fight, I'll be surprised if Canelo takes that fight. I'll say, you know what? We gotta give props to Canelo for taking that fight. A guy that's prime is dangerous. That's too much right there, and you can't hate Canelo for taking that fight if he decides to do it. But I do see him fighting a Bivol or maybe Pascal. But go ahead.
Yeah, Dan. I was just gonna say, when you said about Golovkin backing up, that like people were saying when you obviously against Lemieux, he was in control on the back foot, but against Canelo, he was being forced. You get what I'm saying? It was a difference. Against Lemieux, he chose to do that. Like against Canelo in the rematch, he was forced to back up. Like I don't know how anyone could say that was a robbery. I think in the rematch, Canelo beat him at his own game. I had a draw live. I think on rewatch I gave Canelo 7-5, but I think Canelo won that fair and square. If they had a third fight, I do think Canelo would have knocked him off. But I don't know. I think the window of this Kovalev fight then probably would have went. Right now, I still think that him and Golovkin could fight. I just personally don't think he get the credit because Derevchenko at times he looked like was gonna either knock Triple G out or was gonna put him down. He hit him a couple of times with body shots. But yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, I agree with you. I think he was forced on the back foot. Like he did that. He didn't do that against his own. Like he didn't choose to do that. He had no option but to go back.
Exactly. That's my whole point. He didn't. It's not like he wanted to do it. He had to because he couldn't get the guy's respect when he was trying to fight him on the front foot. He couldn't get his respect. He couldn't do it. So Canelo took his best shots, and that's what psyched Triple G out. It kind of somewhat reminded me of Foreman when he fought Ali many years ago. When Foreman hit Ali with his best shots that he's ever hit, that he put most guys out with, namely Frazier and Norton. That psyched Foreman out. Foreman didn't know what to do after that. He didn't know what to do. So obviously, I just think that at this point of his, Triple G's career, if he gets the third fight with Canelo, great. But honestly, I don't see him winning that fight. I think he might get knocked out, especially if he has to go up and wait and fight him now. If that's what's going to happen, it ain't going to happen at middleweight. I just don't see it. It ain't happening at middleweight.
What about yesterday? Kovalev and Triple G. Who do you guys reckon?
If they ever fight, I hate to say this right now, I probably favor Golovkin to win that fight. I genuinely believe that. But you know what? You know what? I don't know. That's a good question because Golovkin himself has been on a slide himself as well. So, but the difference is that Kovalev's been knocked out so many times, so his punch resistance is far more depleted than Triple G. So
right now, Triple G. But before the Canelo fight, I'm not sure. I think.
Well, I don't know about now. I mean, it's a toss-up at this point. But I can see people slightly favor Golovkin to win that fight. But the problem with that situation is that Golovkin he's a slow mover. He doesn't move. He doesn't have fast feet. He gets punched a lot. He doesn't have fast reflexes. He can't slip punches very well like Golovkin, like Canelo can. He doesn't have the fastest hands either.
Do you think he punches harder than Canelo?
I don't know that now. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. To be honest with you, I know the sparring days. The sparring stories that Golovkin put a beating on Kovalev at the time in their sparring days. He put him down with some body shots, but obviously sparring is sparring. That's a different story. We're talking about the professional ranks. Kovalev is obviously a much better fighter from that standpoint. But
is EJ on? EJ Ben Uma's had him back on. I think.
Yeah. EJ, add Ben back on, man.
All right. Now he ain't there. Yeah. He's not backstage no more.
Okay. But like I said though, I dude, that's a good question. That's a very intriguing matchup. I think
he still hasn't moved up though. Triple G has never moved up in weight.
He never has. Another thing too, I'd like to point out is like, a lot of people are going to say, here's the thing one thing I would say though, is that, hey, if Canelo can move up and fight a much larger guy, why can't you do it? Remember, you're the guy that people say that could knock out heavyweights and cruiserweights. So why can't you do it now?
I just don't think he's as good as some people thought.
Yeah, I agree with you. Go ahead.
Like, don't get me wrong. As a middleweight, you could argue he's one of the greatest. It's similar to Klitschko in a way.
Right.
Not the greatest, but like top 10. You could argue because he's. But I don't like. I'm not against if someone says he's not top 10 middleweight.
Well, you know what? I think Golovkin. Right, I'll give credit's due. I'll say this though: Golovkin top 10 greatest middleweight. I don't think so. You could argue that, I guess. But as far as top 20, maybe top 20 at best. But top 10, that's a bit of a stretch in my view. Because there's been far better great middleweights that has done much better work than Golovkin has. Much better work. So, but the thing at this point, man, like I said, dude, I just think that you let a guy who started his career at 147, not only he beat you at your game in the rematch, he goes up 2 classes to beat a very respected champion who has a Hall of Fame career. Yes, that champion's been knocked out before, but he's regained his form and has been, has had another decent run as a light heavyweight champion. So let's be real, okay? You let that guy do that to steal your thunder, and now what? Now what are you gonna do? So it's like.
To be fair, I'm a Triple G fan as well, but could it be down to PEDs? Because I'm not sure how Canelo's carrying all this weight.
Well, you know what? It's possible, but I will say this though: before he made the climb, out of the ring weight, as you want to say, out of competition weight, Canelo nearly weighs as close to 200 pounds, and guess what? That's no ounce of body fat on him. So he's always looked that way when he's heavy. So he almost he always weighed in around 190 out of the ring. And it's kind of surprising how he was able to cut so much weight, and we probably know why, obviously, but so he's always looked that way.
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
he could have been on PEDs all this time because look, you don't know. Look, everyone could be on PEDs, and we don't know.
Yeah, hell, even Kovalev could be on PEDs. Who knows? But it hasn't been proven yet. But I'm just saying.
Even Triple G. But with Canelo, he has tested positive. Kumit Simtron was saying something. There was something dodgy. That was back when he fought him in like 2012 or 11. So I'm not sure if he's been taking something for a long time.
Well, it's possible. Like I said, especially she got caught with Cabuterol. I mean, it's possible, but until time will tell. We have to, till right now we can only speculate, but until it comes out, that's a different story. But like I said, at this point we can only speculate. Right now, we can only congratulate Canelo for doing what he did. Yeah, it's not like many fighters hasn't done it before. I mean, obviously, there's a few guys from middleweight that went up to light heavyweight and was able to win a title. Tommy Hearns did it when he fought Dennis Andre many years ago. EJ could probably attest to that. Dennis Andre, who was UK's world champion at the time at light heavyweight, and surprisingly, we don't hear his name anymore. So I don't know why, but it is what it is. But other than that, Tommy Hearns did it. Bernard Hopkins did when he fought Antonio Tarver. And EJ, let me ask EJ a question about that. I'm going back to Tommy Hearns and Dennis Andre. Wasn't Andre the favorite to win that fight, or was Hearns the favorite to win it when they fought?
I think I don't know. I think probably Hearns was probably the favorite to win that fight.
Hearns was probably the favorite. Okay. Yeah. The reason why I wanted to ask.
This was wild. Like, he won it.
Yeah.
Was that the guy? Was that the guy that went? I think was it 10 rounds or the distance? I can't remember. But it took him a long time to knock.
Nah, he got knocked out, but Hearns knocked him out.
Was it early? Was that? I thought that was the fight went a bit late.
He was alright. He just unschooled. He used to the win. After that fight,
okay. Yeah. So the reason why I asked that is because there's been times that there's middleweights that's got up to heavyweight. They've been the underdog. So in some rare cases, you see that Canelo and Tommy Hearns were the favorites to beat these light heavyweight champions. So, but the fact is that the point I'm trying to make is that it's not too uncommon, but at the same time, it's not quite as rare. Let's put it that way. So, because of this climate, it's very rare to see guys go up from middleweight all the way to light heavyweight to win titles. It's very rare. So, again, across the Canelo, I think he stays at 175, but he's going to be bouncing between 168 and 175. I just don't see him going back down to 160. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I was going to say Roy Jones did. Roy Jones did that with Tommy Hearns. I think he was just a freak. But then I want to get your thoughts. What about the Dillian White situation? We still haven't heard anything from that.
Yeah, well, I know one of you guys. I think somebody posted this in the chat regarding the Michael Benson report. Sources say that the reason why Dillian White was moved to 2021 mandatory because of the UCAD PED scandal that's yet to be resolved, as Eddie Hearn says it is. We're hearing something different now that hasn't been resolved yet. And because of that, that's the reason why they had to push back Dillian White's mandatory shot and put in Tyson Fury as a new mandatory, which I can't see how Fury's a new mandatory when he hasn't even fought an eliminator. I mean, let's be real. I think, was that eliminator against what's his name, Otto Wallen? Was that the eliminator, or what was that fight?
I don't think it was.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, that was a bit of a shady move in my view. Well, you know what? I would call that.
That's what the WBC is.
Right.
Canelo Alvarez was the proper belt. When Rocky Jordan, like, he didn't fight no eliminator, but when Canelo fought him, they made the belt on the line. That's why Canelo's a full champion, bro. And then Canelo.
But has White been cleared though? That's the thing. We still.
Not really. Matthew had. That's when he won his first title. Come on. Man.
Yeah. Well, has Dillian White been cleared? Yeah, I don't think Dillian has been cleared yet, as he says, because if Michael Benson's coming out and bringing this out, this little report on Twitter, then I have reason to believe they haven't quite cleared the case yet. He could be serving a ban right now, but it's unannounced. It's kind of like how Fury had to do that shit 3 years ago. I see exactly how this situation plays out. Exactly what happened to Tyson Fury. All these years of them going back and forth with this debate, going to these hearings, this, that, and the third. I think it was just a bit of a distraction to get people to believe that it was an ongoing case. But at the same time, I believe, in my view, it could be. But at the same time, I still believe that in some ways, I think he's serving a ban. It's just unannounced at this time. I think he is.
Also,
he's back. They just told him to keep quiet.
You're talking about the Fury situation.
Yeah, very similar to that one. Yeah. But here's the same time, though. There is a loophole behind this, though. Dillian White can still fight anywhere else. But the question is, except for the UK, obviously, but the question is, who's going to sanction the fight? Because the WBA and the IBF and the WBO, they removed him from the rankings, I believe. They removed him. So the WBC still have him there, but they have him on suspension. So who's going to sanction his fight at this point?
I'm sure he's rumored to fight in Saudi Arabia on undercard.
Well, it's taken a while to announce that. I mean, who knows? It could come up soon.
It's not happening now. That
Okay.
was the initial rumor. I think you got Povetkin fighting
Michael Hunter.
Michael
Michael
Hunter. Yeah, and you got Higovic and who's it? Eric Molina. So he's not fighting, but that was initial.
Oh.
What
Well,
do you think?
that,
So
I
if
mean,
he's-
that's three heavyweights right there, man. Three heavyweight fight
Yeah.
cards right there. So, is there any room for Dillian White to be on that card at that point? I just don't see it.
He won't be on there. But what do you think? So if he fights Wilder in 2021, can he still be in the UK or?
Well, I mean, that's when his UCAT situation should be cleared. It's possible, but this is the second time, though. We don't know how long his ban is going to be. We don't know. So,
Could he fight in America?
Oh yeah, he can fight in America as long as the WBC sanctions a fight. They can do it.
I was just wondering. I'm not sure. If it'll be a good look. If he fights Wilder and knocks Wilder out, the way they handle the whole situation.
Yeah, they try to keep it under, keep it secret behind closed doors. Mind you, this thing wasn't supposed to come out. It was not supposed to come out, and this looks bad, shady. And I'm still arguing with people that say that Dillian didn't do nothing wrong. He was cleared. Yeah, he was cleared to fight, but that doesn't mean he's still being investigated. Okay?
Yeah, he wasn't cleared. He was allowed to fight.
I don't know why people keep saying he was cleared. He was not cleared to fight. Well, he was allowed to fight at that instance, but he's not allowed to fight until they further resolve this issue. There's two different scenarios, two different wording on this. So I just look, like I said, it's a mess with Dillian, man. I don't know at this point what's going to happen. I just think, in my view, I think he's serving some type of ban that's been unannounced. That's my theory. But go ahead.
What about Thomas Hauser? I seen him in Canelo's locker room. I'm not sure this guy he's a bit of a mysterious character. Like, I'm not saying what he reported wasn't true. That was probably true, but he's always been mysterious.
Well, Hauser's always been a guy who, like you say, he's very mysterious. He's well respected by pundits and journalists throughout his whole entire career for decades. He's been an Ali guy, no disputing that. He doesn't hide that fact. So my point is, the point I'm making is that he may have his favorite fighters, but there's no sign of him, in my view, unless somebody could prove me wrong. There's no sign of him indicating any favoritism to guys like Deontay Wilder, unless somebody could point that out to me. But even so, though, that does not dismiss the fact that what he reported is actually accurate, because no one disputed that report. Not even Eddie Hearn, not even Dillian White. No one disputed that.
That's true.
So everything he reported is accurate. Everything he did.
No, I'm just
go ahead.
I was recalling, the whole situation in Mayweather. That's when him and USADA had a problem. A lot of people questioned his integrity, whereas other people questioned USADA's integrity.
Well, yeah. See that story was very confusing, and obviously the difference with that story compared to this one, no one from UCAD disputed Thomas Hauser's reporting. No one did at UCAD. Neither Dillian White, neither Eddie Hearn. The only difference with the USADA situation is that USADA representatives came out and disputed Thomas Hauser's reporting. Even Bob Bennett from INSAC disputed his reporting. So that was different. That's what made the situation so confusing. And I hate to say this, they did a pretty good job, almost kind of get people to question Thomas Hauser's his motive and his integrity to some extent. You know what I mean? So that's why Mayweather was able to kind of, I hate to say this, EJ, you know this, I know Mayweather's your guy, bro, but Floyd kind of got off that. But it is true. He got off that. We moved on from it. Great. But the fact is, with the situation with Dillian and Dillian White's situation, no one's disputing what happened. He's admitted to that. The reason why they're upset is that who the hell leaked that to Hauser? That's what they were upset about.
That's true.
So yeah, man. But like I said, dude, Dillian, I don't know, man. He could fight elsewhere, but the question is, who's going to sanction his fights? That's the question. Who's going to sanction them?
All I say is now, man, Canelo, he got some work to do. He can retire right now, and he'd be alright. But he gonna get look. He gonna have 168 or he stay 175. Someone will get. I think the Billy Joe Saunders fight at 168 is good. I like the Pascal at 175. So let's see. Even Aggie Yard. I don't mind seeing that fight.
Yeah, I gotta go, man. My battery's on 1%, but I was gonna say it was good talking to you guys with the whole Dylan White situation. I think it could take even longer, man. I'm surprised they should have sorted that out, but it's not a good look. I'm not sure how long that'll take though. Because if we talk about 2021, that's like we probably won't hear about anything else about that probably till next year. Then,
Finished, man. That's probably when the ban is finished, bro. You know what I mean? Ban for 2 years.
yeah,
Ban for 2 years. You know what I mean? That's why.
yeah, I get you. I'll see you guys soon though.
All right, last one. Peace out. Hey, nice you guys coming over, man. Dan, Umar, Aztec, hey, Tangible, Hamid, you know what I'm saying? All of you guys, man. It's good. YG, Maybach in the chat. Salute. We're going to play out some tunes, and we out here. Peace. Jamal,